Intellectually, it's a murder scene. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Wanna murder me, but never heard of me. Intellectually, it's a murder scene. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Black excellence at its finest. Yeah, using big words, but he can't define it. Then it hit him with the cannon, don't you stand behind him. It's about to get hot, watch him change the climate. He's nothing but a novice and he show his heart. Man, I think this rookie's done, sticking with a fork. Yeah, he treading water, swimming with the sharks. You will never see the light, living in the dark. The only thing he study is this information. Till I show him all his flaws and his calculation. Gotta leave his dummy dead as a demonstration. So I hit him with the case with no hesitation. It's a wealth of knowledge you ain't never seen. Chop his body up and weigh the dead on a triple beam. It's a classic bully on my phone and he keep calling me. Need me to come and pick him up from another murder scene. And he's telling me, I don't know why they keep conveying me. I said we just don't keep kicking their ass into reality. Judas 7,000 said they want a war, but they should have already known that we were looking for. Wanna murder me, but never heard of me. Intellectually, it's a murder scene. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Claiming you a scholar.
All right, peace and blessings. Welcome to the Lion's Den. My name is JJ7000, aka Mendika Mali, the most feared debater on this planet. Sit your ass down, because I know you can't stand it. That's right. We're going to go over some information today, but before I get into the meat and potatoes, I want to give a shout out to my queen, my wife, Jenny Hayes. I want to give a shout out to Sister Karima, the Lion's Den, Neo Love, you know what I'm saying, the minister of music for the Lions Den, and he also got a new venture going out for his church. Congratulations to you, Neo Love. Shout out to Black Jesus Minister for what he's doing over there in his debate league. Shout out to Jeremiah, please say to y'all and the rest of the team. Y'all know who you are. But yeah, man, y'all see the title, The Return of the Jedi Judah 7000. This is because we got to expose these fake Kemetic teachers. Peace to you, Shaka. But we gotta expose these fake Kemetic teachers, man, because they feel safe now over there on that other channel. Because JJ, the Judah, is not there to correct them. You hear me, Chaka? They feel safe now to come out from up under their sarcophagus where they was hiding for the last 8 years. I'm talking about Jabari Sassy. Now he wants to get it. How are you a Kemetic teacher, sir? How are you a Kemetic priest when you're lying to the people? Because I've been going into your texts. Yeah, I've been going into your books and your Coffin Texts and your Pyramid Texts and your Book of the Dead and your Book of the Heavenly Cow for years. This is nothing new. But now you want to pop your little beanhead ass out when 7,000 ain't over there no more. And now all of his Jabarielites is trying to discredit Brother Reggie. Brother Reggie is the closest thing to the truth over there when it comes to Kemetic information. But let's get to my opening. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to peek in on some of the lies that these guys is coming out with. Yeah, what's up, Tashaka? Would you say I knew what channel you was? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, peace, Water Blue. Peace to my queen right there. You know, my wife, Jenny Hayes. Yeah, I see you, queen. But yeah, man, you already know, man. And it's getting to the point where it's like lies upon lies upon lies. Then you got Osiris 7, you got Jose Francis, you got Harwin, and I mean, just a bunch of goof troops who are supposed to be Kemetic students. But they're sitting up under the wrong Saba. This banned me and Jabari's argument for years, man. So let me get to my opening, man. Because see, the main thing they're trying to say that these ancient people did not believe. Hold up for a second. Hold up. These ancient people people did not believe that the Neterus were literal. But when you go into their text, the book, their worldview, these people believed that this was literal, real. The book of the Heavenly Cow, it shows the creation of mankind. It shows the fall of mankind. It shows Ra separating himself from mankind. Then when you go to the afterlife, you will see you have to go through these trials, the weighing of the heart. You have to go through the duat and all this to get to the paradise. They believe in heaven and they believe in a lake of fire. But you already want to say that's not literal? Have you ever noticed that none of these guys even go into none of these texts? It's just lip service. That's all it is, lip service. So let me get my premise out. Because Jabari, I know you feel safe that I'm not over there. You do. But Reggie's gonna beat you up. Reggie gonna get you. He man to get you as bad as I will get you, but Reggie's gonna get you. But if you notice, all the side of this debates, they're all gonna have a cheering section to get the audience already prepared for one side and not the other. When you got all these goofies like Osiris 7, Harwin, and it's a whole bunch. It's a big peanut gallery of none of these guys who ever will come out with the information. When we will see you get into the text, you won't see it. You will not see them go into the text. You just see them going with vague opinions, assumptions, speculations, hypotheses that come from their own mind and not backed by any scholarly input. A cheering section. For this facade, Jabari is the undefeated Saba and master of debates and information when he's not. He's been lying to y'all for years. So let's get into it. So Jabari's premise is that these ancient people, now I'm not saying that. This is what they're saying. That these ancient people did not believe that these beings were literal beings. But these beings, when you go into the verse, controlled mankind. Well, I ain't say control, but had you can invoke them and mankind would connect with them. These beings control nature. Shu was over the air. Happy was over the now. This is what these people believed. But you got a whole bunch of goof troop and flunkies and man fans over there who don't even pay attention to the information. They just rather root and cheer. Nobody's learning nothing over there when it's already predetermined of who they want to win the debate. Pay attention. So let's get to it. I've been beating Jabari up for years. What's up, Mississippi? I see you. Is that Mississippi? Tyrone? Yeah, what's up, Mississippi? Shout out to Mississippi. Shout out to Shaka. Shout out to Water Blue. Shout out to my queen, my wife, Jenny Hayes. Shout out to everybody that's out there watching. Let's get to it. All right, hold up. Move me over here. And then we can get to the information. Let me know if y'all can see this. Okay, hold up. Make the screen bigger. All right, so let's get to it, man. So my opening statement, this is my premise. This is my direction. This is what I've been saying for years. You know, the Neteru were literal beings in Kemetic reality. in Kemetic reality. Hold on for a second. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you hear me. Put a 2 in the chat if you can't. All right. So my opponent would tell you that the Neteru were symbols, metaphors, archetypes, psychological principles dressed in animal heads. What I'm going to do, I'm going to show you what the Kemetyu themselves wrote in stone, on papyrus, and on coffin walls. And you will see they treated the Neteru as literal persons or beings who ruled nature, judged mankind, and walked the road to the afterlife. Jabari ain't gonna tell you about that. He wants to make this the only reason why Jabari is coming with this type of premise is because he's a Kemetic type of person who hates the Bible. Only his worldview of how he think the Kemetics live is right. If you're not believing how he believes, he's going to try to put down your beliefs. But the crazy part is he's not even teaching their worldview as how they seen it in their paradigm. This is some new age Kemetic type of cult, type of shrine induction and come by your way to be a priest in 3 weeks type of situation. Hold on, let me make sure y'all can see me before I get into it. Oh, okay, y'all can hear me. So let's get back to it. So in the pyramid text, the oldest religious corpus on earth, the king does not mediate on Re. He asks Re and Thoth, take me with you, that I may eat what you eat. Eat what you eat. Does the principal eat, Jabari? No, these people thought this was literal. They thought these beings were real, that I may drink of what you drink, that I may live on what you live on. He becomes God, the Son of God, and receives the form of God before the gods. This is what's in their text. How can you refute that, Jabari? In the Coffin Text, Isis and Neteru does not symbolize grief, but physically lifts up his head, rejoins his bones, reassemble his limbs. This is what these people believe. This was literal to them. Jabari just said, no, it's just a principle. The deceased declares, whether I live or die, I am Osiris. In the Book of the dead brings actual offerings to a literal Ka. Let me say it again. In the Book of the dead brings actual offerings to a literal Ka. I have brought you nitron and incense so that I may purify you with them. I said, this is a principle. This was their worldview. It was no different than any Near Eastern culture than anybody else. Than the Mesopotamians, Sumerians, the Hebrews, and anybody else that was in that era. They all had some spiritual belief of something greater than themselves, some kind of divine interaction that's controlling nature, that had a judgment over mankind. It's some divine force, some type of being that you would have to answer to when it's time for you to go. So in the Book of the Heavenly Ka, let's talk about that. This is what these people believed. In the Book of the Heavenly Ka, Ra holds counsel, sentence mankind. A principal cannot sentence mankind. So what he do? He sends one of his agents down to handle that business. Ra holds counsel, sentences mankind, sends Hathor, the cow to slaughter thousands, then repents and brews 7,000 jars of beer to stop her. So now Ra is repenting for what he did. Oh my God. What have I done? This is what their worldview was. He then rises a goddess nut turned into a cow into the sky and creates the field of reeds. This is what they believe. Literally believed. This is in the text. And until you can show me anything different of saying that, oh, Ra was just an idea, some kind of principle, then you fraudulent. Jabari Sassy, you got all them over there food, but you don't have us over here food. We know. You're not teaching from the text. It's just like if a Bible person came up there and they had their Bible and they're going off script, then he has to be checked. Just like you. Just say you're making up your own type of shrine. You know? And keep it honest. He then rises the goddess nut, turned into a cow, into the sky and creates the field of reeds, the stars in the Milky Way by the command. These are not parables to these people. These are government records of divine jurisdiction. These texts themselves define the Neteru as gods, finite and mortal, and were endowed by the Egyptians who with love, hatred, and passion for every sort and kind, and state plainly, nothing can be more clear than that under the name of God, the Egyptians did not understand. A being without body, parts, or passions. They are described as suffering from hunger and thirst. How can a principle be described as suffering from hunger and thirst? But in their verbiage, in their text, this is what they're describing these Neterus as. But Jabari wants to say that these people didn't think it was as literal. This is an easy victory. That's why he never wanted to really face me in the ring. Already bought again, because he already got beat up when I debated him in the Lions Den. Hold on a minute. Let's keep going, y'all. Let's keep going. What's up, Jay Snake? I see you. Let's keep going. Like I say, man, they have a it's like he's like to them over there, he's like a local legend. He can never be beat. He can never been wrong, but he been wrong for the last 8 years since I've been dealing with him. And he's doing hecka on his peanut gallery. You know, the Osiris Sevens and the Harwins and I don't even know some of the new characters over there, man. The guys that never will debate or anybody, just cheerleaders. Okay. So African scholars who restored this reading, Chet Antediop, who proved ancient Egypt was a Negro civilization, Theopold Obenga, Egyptologist and linguist, Jacob Carruthers, who built the Kemetic Institute to teach the language directly, and Mutar Ashby, who teaches that Neteru. Look what he teach. Look what he teach, Jabari. That the Neteru means gods and goddesses. See? Not just a principle. But these guys don't go into the text. They just go by their vague opinions. They all agree you cannot understand Kemet by allegory. It's gods. So therefore, my opponent carries a heavy burden. This was if he was to ever show up, which we know he's not. If he claims that Neteru were not literal, he must do what I've done. Open the primary sources and show why the Kemetyu themselves say this is only a symbol. This is what he needs to prove. He needs to open up the sources and prove where the Kemetyu themselves say this is only a symbol. He must produce a pyramid text where it says Ra says, I am only an idea. He must produce a coffin text where it says, I am really The Isis says, I am not really lifting bones. You know what else he must do? He must produce a Book of the Dead where the lake of fire is called a metaphor. They have a lake of fire. They have a heavens. They have a creation story. They have where Ra separates from mankind. They have where Ra sent down Hathor to destroy mankind. Then they have where Ra repents. These are all Near Eastern stories that was in that time frame. So what makes Kemet any different? These people actually literally believe this. We'll let Jabari Sassy tell you, no, but he never goes into the text. And when anybody is watching him, hold him accountable and say, pull the text out and produce this, Jabari. I'm going to say it again. He must produce a pyramid text where Ra says, I am only an idea. He can't. He must produce a Coffin text where Isis says, I am not really lifting bones. He must produce the Book of the Dead where the lake of fire is called a metaphor. We're waiting for that. And you'll never see it in life. He won't find it because the text treats the lake of fire as a real place guarded by 4 baboons. This is what these people believed. Literally believed. 4 baboons that could either protect and rejuvenate the righteous or annihilate the wicked. This is what they literally believed. Where Amhet, the devourer of millions, waits. Where Ra himself lifted up the moist emanations of Osiris from the lake of fire. And he was not burned. This is what they believed. Literally believed. Hold on for a second. Jabari's no match for me on this topic. He know it. Because I go into the text. That's something you don't do, Jabari Sassy. We just got to listen to you because you got an online degree from Cornell. Come on, man. So my case is simple. The Kemetic paradigm was not symbolic. It was social. The world was full of persons, some visible, some invisible, and the Neteru were the eldest among them with jurisdiction over flood, sun, justice, and death. I'll be bringing texts. I brought scholars. I brought the worldview as they lived it. My opponent must not bring ancient texts. No modern theory to prove me wrong. All right, let's keep going. Source from Jabari. Okay. So let's hit that like, share, and subscribe. All right. Okay, I might have to, okay, there we go. Loading. All right. Keep going. Shout out to Ancient Scribe, Smash Idol. Rest of y'all in the audience, Water Blue, the rest of y'all. This educational ass whooping I'm about to put on Jabari. Like I've been doing for years. Can y'all see that? Hold up. Let me blow the screen up. All right. So let's keep going. So the Neteru as little beings in ancient Kemet. The Neteru as little beings in ancient Kemet. All right. So let me blow it up a little bit. Introduction. The civilization of Kemet did not imagine its gods. It lived with them. From the old kingdom, pyramids at Saqqara, to the instructional papyri of the new kingdom, scribes. The word Neter and its plural Neteru appeared thousands of times always as names for real powers who create. Principles just can't create. Someone governs, there's someone jurisdict principles. This is what they believe. They literally believe this. Wasn't just no pyramid and the arc represents your arm, and this is what Jabari presents, but he cast to show text saying that Ra was just an idea and not a literal thing to these beings, to these people, these ancient people, and he can't. So the word Neteru and its plural Neteru appeared thousands of times, like I said before, always as names for real powers who create, judge, eat, suffer, and die. So modern attempts to reduce the Neteru to abstract principles miss the plain testimony of the text and ignores the recovery work of African scholars who return to the language itself. Check Enter Diop, Theopold Obanga, Jacob H. Carruthers, Malula Karenga, and Muta Ashby all insisted that the first steps is to listen to what the Kemetyu wrote, not what later interpreters prefer. When we do, the evidence is consistent. The Neteru were looked at as literal. I'll destroy you in this debate, Jabbar. Just why you better run like you've been doing and go get a fake victory because it's already predetermined that you're going to win. He already had his peanut gallery up there parading for him for the audience. They take that debate on a neutral platform. Take it on the road. If you really believe that what you're teaching is true, take it on different platforms and let other audience evaluate it. You'll never see that from Jabari. So this essay presents the case that three foundations, the language, the primary text, and the African scholarship that centers Kemet with its own cultural logic. Jabari Sassy. All right? Jabari Sassy and his little minions like Jose Francis. That's the other goofy I was thinking about. Jose Francis and Osiris 7. I can't think. I'm going to show you. It's just a bunch of goofies who are just up there cheerleading. I'm like looking like they're cheerleading, but they're not bringing any information. Cheerleading, but not bringing any text. So, Brother Reggie, I know you're going to bring real information to prove this point, but you're going to lose. Just because it's predetermined for you to lose. That's what's going on over there at the House of Cons. The house of rigging a narrative and not letting it be pure, not letting it be natural, not letting the not brainwash. You should not brainwash the audience to a predetermined decision. The Egyptian language makes it, you could show them all this, and this audience over there will not see it because they're all in it for just fanfare and not trying to really learn. So the Egyptian language makes the distinction explicit to the great and supreme power which made the earth, the heavens, the sea, the sky, men, women, animal, birds, and creeping things. Does that sound familiar in other texts? All that is and all that shall be. The Egyptians gave their name Neter, side by side, which Neter we have mentioned in texts of all ages a number of beings called Neteru, which Egyptologists universally translate by the word, even the African scholars, by the words gods. Among these must be included the great cosmic powers and the beings who, although held to be supernatural, were yet finite, meaning they could die too, and mortal, and were endowed by the Egyptians with love, hatred, and passion for every sort and kind. Crazy part, Jabbar, this is not a late theological development. It's an old kingdom usage. The word appears offering formulas, world titulary, and moral instruction with same concrete force, with the same concrete force as a personal name. You understand that, Jabbar? So you can pull the wolves over some of these other people's eyes, but over at the Lions Den Academy of Education and Information, we're not going for it. You know why? Because we bring it out. The copies, we expose your fake scholarship. You have an agenda. You're just trying to build a cult. You're not teaching, just tell the truth to the people. You're not teaching the true worldview of these people. You're not. You're just adding and taking away. Let's keep going. Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let's keep going. This piece. If I ever catch you off that platform, you're in trouble. I'm gonna call you out. People like Jose Francis and Setting Aside, they small fries when it comes to this. They really ain't even worth calling out. You are the one that's misleading the people. You are the one that got them really believing that you know what you're talking about. But when are you going to, Jose Francis, when are you, Osiris, going to challenge him to bring out the text to prove his point that Ra and the rest of these Neterus were just an idea, some kind of principle? Or they also teach that Neter means nature. No, according to them, the Neteru or the Neterus or administrators in jurisdiction over nature, the sun, the moon, the earth, land, water, elements of nature was controlled and invoked these Neterus were invoked to control these different elements. These Neterus were invoked to get them through different tests and to pass them through the underworld and after. These people literally believe this. You can't tell us nothing different because you have no text, no pyramid text, no coffin text, no book of the dead, no book of the heavenly cow, no book of coming forth by day and night, whatever you want to call it. You don't have any evidence to prove it. But the blind must think that you really know what you're talking about. So this is not a late theological development. Like I say, it's old kingdom usage. The word appears in offering formulas, like I told y'all, moral instruction with the same concrete force as a personal name. The Coptic descendants of the word are used by African Christians to translate the biblical God, showing continuity and meaning across millennia. So let's go on to the pyramid text. Why would they say this if this wasn't literal to them? Pepi I, Marina, and Pepi II are the oldest religious corpus in the world. They do not describe ideas. They describe actions. In the pyramid text, Pepi I, the deceased is addressed. Thou hast received the form of God. Thou hast become great therewith before the gods. A few lines later, the text declares, Pepi, this is then God, the Son of God. The king does not become a concept, concept, principle. Jabari, concept and principle work hand in hand, right? He becomes a member of the divine family who already exist before him. Let's keep going. You know why Jabari come over playing with us? So let's go to Utterance 210, Jabari Osasi. You'll never see him do it. You'll never say Jabari. So let's go to Utterance 270. Let's go to utterance 55. Let's go to turn your page to the Coffin Text, spell 241. You'll never see it. You will never see it in life. You never see it. Peace, Sister Ayamana. You will never see it. Let's keep going. You'll never see it, Bryson. Yes, go to utterance 532 in your Coffin Text or in your pyramid. You'll never see it. Utterance 210. Jabari, we need to see you do this in your upcoming debate for us to even take you serious. This is getting old. Utterance 210. It's getting old that Frankie over there promoting you as his top scholar, this top debater, when it's all a facade. It's all just a money grab. Oh, yeah, you build up a little fan base who don't even care what you're saying. They just going by the myth that you have never lost a debate, instead of teaching consciousness. If you're going to study a group of people or people in group, teach how they really viewed their world. Utterance 210 makes a literal fellowship unmistakable. But Jabari never tell you this because he don't even read it. Ray and Thoth, take me with you, that I may eat of what you eat, that I may drink of what you drink. Principles on eat and drink, Jabari. That I may live on what you live on, that I may sit on what you sit on, that I may be strong through that whereby you are strong, that I may sell into that which you sell. Eating, drinking, sitting, selling are bodily acts. You understand that, Jabari? Frankie, pay attention. The king asks to share the table of Ray and Thoth because they have a table. This is what they believe. This is their worldview. This is what they literally believed. There's no metaphor behind it. This is what they wrote down. This is what they believe. Others 273. The so-called cannibal hymn shows Eunice rising, dawning as a soul, as a god with a small g, living on his fathers, feeding on his mothers. The imagery is violent and physical because the gods are physical enough to be consumed for power. Later in the utterance 373, you never hear Jabari say any utterances. Go to the utterance 500. Tell me when. The text promised Teti. Teti was one of the kings. The hidden ones worship you. The great ones surround you. The watchers wait on you. The watchers, that sounds familiar, don't it? Barley is threshed for you. Emer is reaped for you. Worship here includes agriculture, harvest, and the feast prepared by other beings. The text also record that the Neteru could die. Jabari, the text also records that the Neteru could die. Jose Francis, with your dumb ass. Osiris 7, you simple-minded, goddamn. I mean, I ain't gonna cuss you out. I'm gonna keep it educational. But you're flunky. You just run your mouth just to be heard. We don't learn nothing from you but just your opinion about something, and you never back it up with sources, references, scholars who agree with you. Nothing. It's just you yapping your pork chop eating lip. A passage. Look at this. The text also records that the Neteru could die. Jose Francis, I know you're peeking around because you're another one over there just going along to get along. Don't even read. Don't even break out none of the text. This is why you get called out. The text also records that the Neteru could die. A passage cited from the Book of the Dead. Tradition notes that the Neteru, or gods whom Unas hunted, ensnared, and killed, and roasted and ate, are beings who could die. These people literally believe this. To them were attributed bodies, souls, kais, spiritual bodies, etc. Morality is the clearest proof of literacy. An abstraction cannot be killed and roasted. A being can, Jabari. Jose Francis. Osiris 7. Osiris 7 and Jose Francis are the main cheerleaders for Jabari. Jabari can't do no wrong. Hard winning anybody else over there is agreeing with Jabari. Oh, wait a minute. And you, Frankie. Let's keep going, man. You'll learn today. I'm not just over here running my mouth. I'm not just over here just going by vague opinion. I'm bringing you their worldview. And until you can show me where in these texts it's saying that it's just an idea, then you caught. I've been on to you for years. But now you got a little cult following on social media. So now I gotta shut you down so they can see reality. So the anthropomorphic reality, guys, this is the anthropomorphic reality, right? Gods with bodies and passions. This is what they believed. Classical Egyptology often tried to spiritualize this material. The texts themselves resisted. A summary of an early commentary states the point directly. Nothing can be more clear than that under the name of God. The Egyptians did not understand, as we do, a being without a body, parts, or passions. The bodies of the gods are spoken of as well as their souls. And they have both parts of passions. They are described as suffering from hunger. This is what they believe. This is what they literally believe. And thirst. Even some of them got old. Disease, fear, and sorrow. This is not a poetic license. In the myth of Ra and Isis, Ra ages, his mouth dribbles, his bones ache. In the continued horse said, the god bleed, they weep, require bandages. When did the principal can ever require that, Jabari Sassy? In temple rituals, statues of the Neterus are washed, clothed, fed, and put to bed each night because the deity is understood to inhabit this image in a literal way. And Jabari, you know, if you got him bring me, this debate already be over. The daily offering, literary, in a household routine for a living resident, not a meditation on a principle. And where you find this guy, Jabari at, Sonata? I mean, where you find him from? For him to be such a great scholar, he has to prove his point using these texts: the pyramid text, the coffin text, the book, the coming forth by day and night, the book of the heavenly cow. He has to go into these ancient texts and prove that this was just an idea. These Neteru was just an idea. They had no control over daily life. They had no when you invoked them, you know, no powers in the underworld to get these people to and fro. They like a fire. They had ferrymen to guide you across. They had 4 different baboons on each side. This is what they literally thought. And until you can get up here and show something in the text to prove me wrong, you're nothing but a liar. Nothing but a liar. All right, let's keep going. Let's go to the wisdom literature. Wait. Yeah. Now let's go into the wisdom literature. God as actor in daily life. The priest, Prissc papyrus, preserves the precepts of Ptahhotep and Kagemi from the Old Kingdom, copied in later pages. These are practical ethics, not mysticism, and they treat Neter as an active agent. Jabari. For example, show the pattern. Not known are things which will do good God. Thou shalt not cause terror in men and women, for it's opposed gods thereto. The eating of bread is according to the God. If thou art a farmer, labor in the field, which has given God to thee. That's what they believe. The God plans, opposes, gives, feels, and determines outcomes. God plans. This is what they believe. This is what they literally believe, that God plans, that the Neterus or beings oppose, give, feels, and determine outcomes in the Maximus of Annie from the New Kingdom. But you never see Jabari say anything about, go to the Maximus of Annie in the New Kingdom. And it shows that, that there's nothing that planned. It was just a principle to oppose. You need to show that there's a principle that gives feels, and you need to show that they believe that it was just a principle that determines outcomes. And you can't. So, like I said, in the Maxims of Annie from the New Kingdom, the same little agency continues. The God is for magnifying his name. The house of God, which it hates, is much speaking. Pray thou with love and heart. He will do thy business. He will hear that which thou sayest and will accept thine offerings. Give us thy God existence. The God will judge the night. In the offering to thy God, guard thou against the things which he abominest. Give thyself to God. Keep thou thyself daily for God, and let tomorrow be as today. These are instructions, like I say, from the Maximus of Annie. These instructions for dealing with a person or superior power, not for contemplating an impersonal force. You do not bring offerings to a metaphor. You do not bring offerings to a metaphor and expect it to hear. Make it make sense, Jabari. But you're supposed to be the Kemetic priest. You're supposed to be the one bringing this out. The temple and tomb practice. The architecture of Kemet confirms the textual view. Every major temple contained a naos, a small shrine where the cult statue lived. They actually thought that this cult statue lived. The statue was not a symbol of the Neter. It was a body the Neter could enter during the ritual. The statue was not a symbol of the Neter, Jabari. It was the body the Neter could enter during ritual. Priests performed the opening of the mouth to animate the image. Then they even fed it. They clothed it and carried it in procession till the community could see their God travel. They brought it around the community of people, this image that they felt the Neter was invoked in, and carried it in procession so the community could see their God travel. In tombs, the deceased is shown meeting Anubis, who weighs the heart, Thoth, who records, and Osiris, who sits on a throne. These scenes are painted as a courtroom encounters, not internal psychological states. The Book of the Dead spells gives the deceased the exact words to say to the gatekeepers, to the ferrymen and assessors, because those beings are expected to be there, what? Listening. Let me say it again. Those beings that they believe were real were expected to be there listening. Oh man, you ain't got a snowball's chance in hell to even contend with me on this topic. You better run. Yeah, I know you feel safe. Yeah, wait, shit, 7,000 ain't over there no more. I can come back out being pseudo, because there will be nobody there to challenge me. And that's how you really feel. Come on, man. So let's go to African scholarship, returning to the source. See, European Egyptology long debated whether Neter meant strong, holy, or renewing. African scholarships, the questions, they don't even see, y'all made it up. They don't even talk about no nature. They debated on whether Neter meant strong, holy, or renewing. See? The Lions Den Academy of Education and Information, we bring it out. African scholarship that could mean in Greek or Hebrew, they asked what it meant to the people who used it. Chet and Diop demonstrated at the 1974 UNESCO Cairo Symposium that ancient Egyptian civilizations is fundamentally African in language, culture, and worldview. His work established the necessity of reading Kemet from within Africa. After the symposium, Jacob H. Carruthers visited Diop in Senegal. At this visit, Diop impressed. These are real scholars. At the visit, Diop impressed upon Dr. Carruthers the importance of the study of ancient Egypt, and more importantly, the need to center the study around the command of the Egyptians' language, commonly called hieroglyphs. Returning this meeting, Carruthers established the organizational base to centralize Kush and Kemet as a classical African civilization upon which liberated African institutions would be built. 1978, Carruthers and colleagues founded the Kemetic Institute. This organization addressed the need for serious restoration-driven search by Africans on the classical African civilization of Kush and Kemet. Carruthers taught that if you cannot understand the Neteru through translation alone, you must read the Neteru. Leopold Obanga, Diop's protege and collaborator, advanced this project as a professor, emeritus, and Egyptologist, and a politically active proponent of Pan-Africanism. His linguistic work showed deep genetic links between ancient Egyptian and other African languages, reinforcing that the conceptual world of Neter is African, not imported. Molina Karenga, in compiling Kemetic and African worldview, gathered papers that treat the Neter as living components of an African ethical and spiritual system centered on Ma'at. The focus is not an allegory, but an order, justice, and reciprocal relationship with divine powers. With divine powers, Jabari Osasi. Muatu Ashby, writing for contemporary practitioners, state the baseline clearly. This book is about the mystery of Neteru, the gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. This is what Mutua Ashby says. What scholars use? Are you using them Victorian scholars? Them European Victorian scholars to explain their worldview? Is that what you're doing, Jabari? And your little Jabari likes to just sit there and listen to anything you say, don't even challenge you? While Ashby also explores their functions as cosmic principles, he never denies their literacy in ancient contexts. In Shertut Neter practice, the Neteru are invoked. They're fed and praised as persons. These scholars agreed on method. Start with the text. So we're going to start with the text, Jabari. I'm trying to school you. In the language, within the culture. When you do, the Neteru emerge as real. So, ladies and gentlemen, why literalism matters. Understanding the Neteru as literal explains features of Kemetic religion that symbolic readings cannot. First, it explains the sacrifice and offerings. You feed a being, not a concept, Jabari. The offering lists at every temple record bread, beer, cattle, fowl, insects, and clothes because the Neter were understood to consume the essence. Second, it explains kingship. The king is called son of Ra, beloved of Amun, image of Horus, because divine parentage is literal in the mythic character. Pepi becomes God, the son of God, not as a metaphor for good governance, but as a change of state. Third, it explains magic. Heka works because the practitioner knows the true names, bodies, and histories of the Neteru and can compel them as persons. Spells threaten to reveal secrets or withhold offering, tactics that only make sense against agents. Fourth, it explains pluralism. Kemet had many temples because it had many gods, each with a cult center, family, and mythology. If the Neteru were only aspects of one principle, Jabari, the intense local loyalties and rivalries makes little sense. I mean, where they find this guy, man? This is some kind of goddamn joke. And y'all gonna pay to see the debate for Jabari to sit here and lie? But as good as Reggie's gonna beat him up. Reggie's gonna beat you up. But guess what? His audience is not the neophytes, they layman's. They're not even interested in going to check the information themselves. They just want to be led to the water or over a cliff by somebody who's misleading them. And doing this for selfish gain to get more students into his goddamn cult. Charge them in 4 weeks. You can be a priest if you at 7, 9. I don't know how much you charge him, but that's the type of thing that he's offering. That ain't how it works. By you doing that, you disrespecting the ancestors, the people before you, thousands of years ago, who really were real Kemetic priests in that culture. You just doing something made up. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going, ladies and gentlemen. Now, objections and responses. Some argue that the Egyptians were too sophisticated for literal gods and must have intended the Neteru as principles like truth for Ma'at or order for Ma'at. The texts themselves show both levels operated at once, but the base is literal. Ma'at is a goddess who wears a feather. This is what they believe, who stands at a prow on a solar bark, who is embraced by the king in ritual. The principle is named after the person, not the reverse. Others point to the late hymn of Amun that speaks of hinderness and oneness. Kemetic theology certainly developed a sense of supreme hidden power behind the Neteru that does not erase the Neteru. The Prece and the Ani text already distinguish between Neter as supreme and Neteru as the many, showing that both ideas coexisted from the Old Kingdom onward. Continuity in African traditions. The literal view of the Neter aligns Kemet with the rest of Africa. The Yoruba, the Orisha are persons with shrines, food, and stories. In the Khan, Abasum are literal children of Nyami. In Dogon, Nomo, an ancestral being who acts in the world. Remember, the Nomo, they believe, came as talking about Sirius A and Sirius B. Diop and Obango argued that this is not a coincidence, but shared heritage. The Kemetic pattern of higher creator with the family of active embodied divinities is classically African. Carruthers taught see, I'm saying, Jabari, you need to be bringing us sources and references and peer-reviewed articles proving your point that they know this was just some kind of idea, and you can't. Jabari, you would never take this topic outside of that fishbowl you call the House of Conscience because you're not a road warrior. You're not a road champion. You're not a type of debater that will go on the road, you have to be in some kind of safe space. So, Carruthers taught that restoring it to this understanding is not antiquarium. It is restoration of an African worldview where spirit is not separate from matter, where ancestors are and gods are part of the community, and where ethics in relationships with living, and where ethics is relationship with living powers. So, conclusion: the ancient Kemetyu left us no doubt they called the maker Neter, and the divine family Neteru. They carved spells where the king eats with Ray and Thoth, where Pepe received this form of God before the gods, where Eunice dons as a god feeding on his mothers. And, what do you call that? Cannibal him. Yeah. They wrote wisdom where God plans. They wrote wisdom where God plans. Give fields. Principles don't give fields. Principles don't hear prayers. Principles don't judge right. Principles don't accept offerings. They describe gods who hunger, thirst, age, and bleed. Where's the principle? They believe this literal. Where's the principle going to bleed? When's the principle going to die? They built houses for them. They ain't built no houses for no principle. They fed them daily. What did you know? Oh, yeah, it's this idea. Put the food out for this idea. Makes no sense. So they fed them daily, and they carried them in procession around the people, invoked into a statue. They believed this literally, these beings were literally real. African scholars who return to the language confirm what the texts say. Diop proved the African foundation. Obanga, you can tell them about Diop, Obanga, and all that, but as long as it's coming from somebody and not coming from Jabari, they're not going to believe it. That's how much of control he has over that audience over there. They don't care. Jabari, you've been beat up on several different occasions, but over there they will say, no, Jabari never lost, or Sonetta will rig up a goddamn pole, because he's known to do it. And just already have it pre-rigged and say Jabari won by a certain amount of percent. He's known to do it. That is in his character. So really, if you want to see a real, natural, unbiased debate, then it needs to come off of that platform, and y'all take Jabari, Ray, take that act on the road to different audiences and different hosts and see what the outcome is. Diop proved the African foundation, right? Obanga mapped the linguistics continuously. Carruthers built institutions to read the Metanetter directly. Karanga situated the Neteru inside an African ethical worldview. Ashby teaches new generations that Neter means God and goddesses. Stop playing with us. They ain't gonna tell you that. All right, let's keep going. The Neteru never looked at The Neteru were looked at as literal because they were experienced as literal. To reduce them to symbols is to miss the civilization that built its life around their presence. To restore them as persons is to hear Kemet in his own voice. Man, come on, man. This is real information. This ain't none of that. I'm just going to say what I want to say because I'm Jabari or I have some kind of agenda. No, we ain't doing that. We want to bring the real information. All right, let's keep going. All right, hold up. Let's see. Y'all want to peek in on them line for a minute? Y'all want me to bring some more real information? Let's keep it. Hold up. And then we're gonna peek in on these guys lying. All right, hold up. I'd rather get the real information out first, and then we can listen to them lie. So then y'all can see, okay, well, what about this? Here we go. I thought it was supposed to be about edifying the body and bringing out real truths and real studies, not just a fan club and prearranged decisions and debates. And come on, man, keep that shit. No, I was muted. Hold up. Okay, so we're gonna go into the next source material to prove my point. The Neteru were literal. This is an easy win, easy way, easy to debunk. When he's saying that they're not, according to their worldview, I don't know what worldview he's reading, but he's making it up. So the Neteru were literal. Primary text from Kemetic, from Kemet with scholarly explanation, compiled to prove the ancient Kemetic view from the pyramid text, the Coffin Texts, and the Book of the Dead. So the Kemetyu did not write the ideas when they wrote Neter. They wrote about beings. The word Neter makes the marker, and Neteru names the gods who have bodies, who eat, who drink, who suffer, who die. Principles cannot eat or drink. The texts below are presented first in their own words, Jabari Osazi, then explained through African-centered scholarship. Now you need to bring something else to refute this, or you need to sit down somewhere and sit in the front so you can learn. One thing you won't see Jabari Osazi do is go into any of these pyramid text utterances. Yeah, pull out your pyramid text and go to utterance 215, where it says, or 210, where it says this is the fellowship at the God's table. It's what they believe. This they literally believe that Ray and Thoth take me with you, that I may eat what you eat, that I may drink what you drink, that I may live on what you live on, that I may sit down with what you sit on, that I may be strong through that whereby you are strong, that I may sail into that in which you sail. You're not gonna go into Utterance 273. The king becomes a god. Why would he? That would mess up his hustle. Clouds darken the sky. The stars rain down when they see King Eunice drawing as a soul, as a God, living on his fathers, feeding on his mothers. Cannibal him. Others 373 gods who receive harvest. The hidden ones worship you. The great ones surrounding you. Barley is threshold for you. Emer is reap for you. The monthly feasts are made with it. Rise up, O Teddy, you shall not die. How about royal transformation statements? Thou hast received the form of God. Thou hast become great there within before the gods. And Pepi, this is then God, the Son of God. The Coffin Text, 2134 to 2040 BCE, spell 74. You never see Jabari go into any pyramid text, any coffin text. You never see him do none of that. Spell 74. And here debate, Jabari, I'd be impressed if you bring up any text, coffin text, pyramid text, coming forth by day and night. Any of these ancient texts proving that they're saying that, no, this was just an idea, a concept, a principle. You need to prove that. And you can't. And he won't. Yeah. Water Blue, catch him at the museum. All right. So Coffin Text, spell 74, revival of Osiris applied to the deceased. Helpless one, helpless one, asleep, helpless one, in the place which you know not. Yet I behold, yet I know it. Behold, I have found. Oh, excuse me. You lying on your side, the great listless one. Our sister says, Isis of Nephthys, this is our brother. Come, let us lift up his head. Come, let us rejoin his bones. Come, let us reassemble his limbs. Come, let us put an end to all his woe, that as far as we can help, he will weary no more. This is revival of Osiris applied to the deceased. Spell 330 in the coffin text. Identification of Osiris. Whether I live or die, I am Osiris. I enter in and reappear through you. I decay in you. I grow in you. I cover the earth. I am not destroyed. Identification of Osiris. Spell 330 in the coffin text. Spell 404. God's at the doorway. Jabari, how do you explain this? He will arrive at another doorway. He will find the sisterly companions standing there, and they will say to him, come, we wish to kiss you. And they will cut off the nose and lips of whoever does not know their names. This is the guys at the doorway. How about the book of the coming forth of day and night, which I call the book of the dead? Chapter 105. Now you're feeding the ka. Formula for satisfying the ka for him in the underworld. They literally believed in the underworld. They believed there were beings in the underworld. They believed there were creatures in the underworld to stop you from getting past, to get to that paradise. Formula for satisfying the ka. For him in the underworld, hail my ka, my lifetime. See, I am come before you. I am risen, powerful, ensouled, mighty. I have brought you Neteru and incense so that I may purify you with them, so that I may purify your fluids with them. You see that, y'all? Y'all see that? But Jabari never, Jabari would never teach you this, because either he don't know, or if he do know, he has an agenda not to read directly from these texts. That's what I just said. If he know it, why ain't he out here teaching it? I said, so do Jabari know this stuff? Evidently not. Evidently not. Let's keep going. What up, Marquise? All right, let's keep going. So, so here's, like I said, the Book of the Dead, New Kingdom, feeding the car. Formula for satisfying the car. Okay, I read that. This chapter shows the dead sustaining a spiritual double with physical substances because the car is treated as a oh, yeah, let's peek in on them line real quick, see if it play. If not, I'll read some more, and we'll hold up. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. All right, yeah, let's do that. Okay. So them lying to the people. And let's see. Wait. Hold up. StreamYard. Hold up, y'all. All right. So Marquise, we're gonna peek in on wait, it's not the one. Let's see. That's the right one. What's this one? Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, that's the one I need to show. I got the wrong one. Hold up, y'all. How they run their mouth, but Jabari, none of your students even they don't come with sources. They just parrot what you say. That's not. Hold up, y'all. That's not how scholarship work. If you're gonna be trying to teach a band of minions, at least let them have some kind of information. Your disciples should at least have. Well, I can go to Coffin Texts 554 and show that it didn't mean it was literal. You're not doing that. You guys are just running your mouth. Watch this, y'all. Oh, let me see. Let's share my screen. Update. It was called an update. Let's see. Update. Here it is. Now listen to these buffoons. It's embarrassing. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. All right. Uh-oh. Dumbing down the audience. Oh, all right. Hold up, y'all. Let's see. Share screen. Oh, hold up. Let me move myself over here real quick to the side. There we go. Yeah. And I mean, uh-oh. All right. Here we go. Here we go, y'all. This is bottom of barrel scholarship right here, y'all.
Gideon.
Except Gideon. Gideon be on point sometimes. Yeah, here go the flunky.
Symbolism. And
right
that we can get decided.
It's going to go up. This fight, this title bout matchup. Any questions, brother Ashe? Anybody?
That we can get a little loose. And I allowed them
try to break the bank like that with y'all.
Listen to a couple of these clowns, man. I'm sorry I got to hear this, but this is how you see who lying and who ain't. I'm sorry, they do. You know. All right, here we go. Here we go, y'all.
I should be doing it because I get no support from most of y'all. You know,
I'm begging, man. Just put out the information, man. Damn. Get you some. If you run the channel right, you have sponsors. You wouldn't have to beg the people. You see? I'm gonna leave them alone. All right, here we go.
No. But yeah, that's the way it goes. The link will be up where you can get the ticket and questions. Any questions, brother Ashe? Anybody else in the chat? The link is in the chat. Are there any questions? Anybody? I'll hold it up here for a minute. And damn, Jabari gonna lose his title. Stake of my head. Jabari does rituals to the Neters on a daily basis. So why he doing that? Oh man. Woo, people going with Dr. Reggie on this. I say what it is, brother.
What's up? Peace,
People going with Reggie on this, man. Damn.
I'm with you. Say you with Reggie.
I said people are going with Reggie on this.
Oh, which is crazy. Definitely go get the tickets. I'm gonna definitely get the tickets. I want to put a PSA out, which was a lot of times, a lot of brothers think.
So who's this clown or say? Evidently, he don't know what he must have never read. Hold y'all. He might be some new fly by night. Here we go.
We got the Rhetoric Frontier. We got the sideshow that we can get a little loose. And I allow the brothers to get a little loose, but we got to tone it down because I have noticed after certain altercations and certain words have been said, I'm noticing my numbers going down. I'm noticing that. Fact.
You're not teaching no truth. If that's the channel, I seen y'all earlier today. Not one of y'all came with any sources. I think Jabari's gonna win, but show why. Like this is why, because this is what I research. That's what you need to do. Shashay, whatever your name is. Hold on. Hold on, y'all.
Planning to publish your book? You could reach 3 about publishing it, you have to watch this video. Hi, I'm Sarah from Spines.
You probably on mute, sir.
Yeah, there's a few people that they doing that to. Yeah, they doing that to a few people that I know. You know, because they used to be up there too, and so yeah, they going in on that. I don't care what you charge, sir. This is Ali versus Frazier. That's right. Facts. That's all facts right there. This one right here is going to be Ali versus Frazier. So I don't want to hear. I'm just hoping I got to talk.
And
yeah, it's good.
Going to be a spectator. I mean, yeah.
I'm supporting.
Hey, hold up.
Oh man, I am waiting for the rumble in the jungle. I am excited for this matchup. We all know what argument I'm supporting. And from my research, I'm really interested in seeing what Brother Reggie is going to do, what angle he's going to take, because it's going to be very hard for him to prove.
But won't bring any sources. He'll never go into the text. Any of these texts. You just pay Frankie to be heard. This is Asar 7. And this bozo Asar Wasser.
And it's going to be a really good showing from what I see from the people, the excitement. I think you need to do some more promoting. If you guys could do some weigh-ins, that would be perfect. I hope you guys are able to do it anymore.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do some weigh-ins. We're going to do a couple of weigh-ins. Yeah.
Okay. Because I didn't know
let me ask you something, Seven Asar.
Yeah.
Are all the Neteru non-literal? All of them?
See, when we say that the Neteru are not literal, we have to understand that this argument came from.
No, all of them non-literal.
Oh, are all the Neteru non-literal? Yeah, they're all non-literal.
You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. But don't have one single source. Don't go in the text. We just supposed to believe you because you sitting up there saying it. Are you serious?
The Neteru are not legitimate. They're not.
That's his argument. With no sources, references, peer review articles. I just showed you African scholars who Diop and Banga and I mean all these different ones, and we supposed to believe an idiot who called himself Asar 7. Who never shows a source.
And how they depicted that
he just a goddamn cheerleader.
They're not literal.
So what about, and this is crazy, and I don't think that Reggie gonna go this route, that's why I'm gonna say it. What about the Apis bull? Which was a literal bull that was also on the wall, and they brought offerings and sacrifice to the literal Apis bull. It was a real bull.
Did the bull represent a Neteru or a god, or was the bull
animal? Was the bull a real animal?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, the bull is an animal, and all a bull can do is what a bull can do. So did they attach symbolism to that bull, or principles, or meanings, or any type of extra?
See what I'm saying? This guy's a waste of time. Let's see what the next one's talking about. I mean, I'm not finna. Don't just talk. Source up.
Religious people who are trapped in those old concept thoughts still believe that in 2026, and this is what we're arriving at today: the religious mind versus the.
First of all, sir, we not and versus what? Versus what?
Looking at things literal.
You see what I'm saying? They were religious. They did look at the Neteru as literal. I just showed you all this. So instead of you just running your goddamn fly-by-night pork chop eating lip, could we please see something from the text? And none of these goofies will be able to do it.
and a person who can distinguish the two, because Jabari is someone who can distinguish the two.
That's what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying? You're nothing but a cheerleader.
That's what makes this interesting. And I thought Brother Reggie used to say the same thing.
No, Reggie never said the same thing.
And now he's flip-flopped.
He has never, because I put Reggie in the Kemetic IC, and I use him to answer questions for me, for Jabari. Basically, he was going against Jabari back then. So he never flip-flopped.
That's another interesting part of this.
At least on this time.
As well. Would you guys agree that Reggie has flip-flopped?
So you see how they get Jabari lights up here to sway the audience, to already have a preconceived idea who's going to win and what this other debater's doing wrong. Man, come on, bro. And won't none of these goofies get in the ring to really debate?
Yo, that's not for me to say, brother.
What about you, Brother Ashe?
Yeah,
I'm not commenting on that either.
The character, like this bozo right here. That's who I want to see in the ring. This Ashe. Yeah, he was a little slick tongue today. This is my first time seeing him.
Talk about it after the debate, man. I don't want to sway nobody. I'm still the presence as well. You know what I mean? I'm a host and shit, so I don't want to get up too deep in it. But I did want to say, you fall on your face. Well, not you, because I'm on Reggie and I'm on Jabari's side. Believe it or not,
see, another goofy, but they got these Kemetic names and African names, but none of them is going to pull up any text. Any scholars who agree with Jabari's side. That's what we're waiting on. Not a fan club, but real information. But none of these goofies will be able to do it. You see?
Whenever you even examine a debate, you got to look at the pros and the cons. You got to look at, the other person's point of view.
How many debates you got? You just popped up out of the goddamn sky. Brother Ashe. This is one that had that. I didn't know. I seen him earlier. And all the goofy, like the Jabari lights over there holding Jabari's unk. Like he King Khufu. And I looked, I'm like, I'm waiting for them to drop sources. I'm waiting for them to read a text to prove them. They just picking sides, fan favorites. How are we learning from that? Before the debate, you bring up the peanut gallery for Jabari to say, yes, he's going to win, and you don't even back him up with any of the texts. Where are you doing this at?
It's tough when you get to that Apis bull, and it's a couple other animals, not just the animal itself. Like, you know how
man, let's get there.
Dracula was real, but he ain't literal.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. Now they going with the Spider-Man is real, but he's not literal. That's what you can't come to this debate using that type of logic. Now he got his flunkies running around saying this. It's real, but it's not literal. No, these people, these ancient. Let's get back. We're gonna listen about 2 more minutes of these idiots, and then I'm gonna get back to my information.
That they are literal. That's what Reggie's arguing. Reggie knows himself that the Neterus are not literal, brother.
All these experts. And we waiting for you, Frankie. You goddamn whatever your name is. I don't even know some of these characters. What's this dude name? Well, whatever your name is, bring up some sources. They're just cheerleaders. Look at them.
Am I lying?
Look at this boy.
That brother Reggie doesn't look at the Neteru as spiritual, and he's challenging Jabari on his spirituality concept or point of view. I understand that, but we understand where this all started from, Sonetta, and it didn't start when we first started seeing this argument about him challenging him about the Neteru according to his spirituality. It was about his statements that he was saying against Tahuti. This all
against Tahuti. So this is why I'm telling y'all, this is my fight. I put Tahuti on Jabari because Jabari was scared to debate me after the first time in the Lion's Den. So when I met Tahuti and him and I had like the same type of, so you don't believe the same nonsense about the ancient commanders like Jabari. So this, you don't know where it stemmed from. This stems from Jabari and I when we met up in the Lion's Den, going back and forth before that debate got set up. I've been had my foot on his neck about this. So at least if you're going to know where it stemmed from, get the facts right. But I'm glad you said Tahuti, because Tahuti was an extension of 7,000. I know the history. I created the history with this topic with Jabari Osasi. He hid for 8 after I came on the HOK. You didn't see him on there much. Now he popping up like every goddamn day because he knew if I was over there, he was eventually going to run into me. I was going to call him out on his agreement to do this debate with me. That's a fact. That's a fact. So we're gonna listen to these goofies a little bit longer, and then we're gonna I'm gonna get back to some information. These guys are flunkies.
started when Tahuti came up with this, because he.
No, they started with 7,000, challenging Jabari on this, and after I beat him in the lines, I'm gonna say it again. He said, "Oh, let's do the debate on the TV," and he kept running. So then when I met, I like Tahuti, you gotta believe so? Okay, here, let me set you up with this guy. Because Jabari didn't want to see no more Kemetic type of teachers in the community. He felt intimidated by Tahuti. And you lost bad. The Lions didn't won that day. You had to go get your wife and Reggie to help you. Remember all that? So Reggie, but the top was by Neteru. So I'm going to leave it alone. But at one point in time, you was over there with Jabari. I know the history.
Originally agreed with Jabari. Am I lying?
So you know what? He is right. Reggie did originally agree with Jabari. Oh, but it was about the metanatter. Reggie, you did flip-flop something. I ain't gonna lie.
Lying.
I want to.
You didn't originally agree with Jabari.
Wait.
Hey, yo, hold on. Everybody.
He originally agreed with Jabari.
Everybody.
He did.
Yo, man. Everybody hold up. Before anybody get crazy, you see on the screen, no profanity, no cursing out each other, because I want to get my channel back up and running. So let's be disciplined. Y'all could go hard. Y'all can bang hard all you want. But let's not profane, let's not call out names.
All right, so let's skip around a little more.
Samaj say Fatah. There are lots of differences, but if you don't know them, then you don't know the differences. Baba Haru Samaj say Fatah, he was the one who originally brought the spirituality. Like, he's not from New York. None of these people. You don't know none of these.
Let me see.
That'd be something little. That's my question to a scholar like my brother Reggie. If you don't want to answer that for the sake of debate, I respect that too.
All right.
Am I able to respond?
Nobody wants to hear you, bro. This Osiris 7, you never bring anything but your lip. We don't just want to hear you. We want to, if you got something to prove, I mean, with information, could you please put it on the screen? Other than that, no, we don't want to hear you.
Yes, go ahead, Osama.
No, I can answer it. Thanks, Sache. I can answer your question. Okay. Well, what you accurately did was make clauses, not saying that the clauses themselves were accurate. So anytime someone says, my back is Jed, right? Then that's a metaphorical statement, because I know in grammar that's a metaphorical statement. So, but then there are statements that are not metaphorical. They are straight, no, as, like, me. That's simple grammar, right? That's simple grammar. The thing is, how do Egyptologists and our own experts know, right, that there are these are literal, right? That's going to be part of the debate. Well, the same way you gave this example, I gave an early example to Seven Asar. If the Shrine of Ma'at, I guess that's a metaphor. I guess that's that doesn't mean what it says. Just the version of shrine. Because if you look up the basic definition of a shrine, which you can all do, it says what it corresponds to, what it relates to. What is it? Why is it literal? It's literal in itself. Shrine. So if you have a shrine to something, then it's the shrine to something, right? So if you look at it as grammar, right, there's two subjects there, right? So if here's a shrine to Ma'at, for example, right, then Ma'at definitely has to be a name, right, a proper noun, and the shrine is a proper noun. Now,
brother, why don't you just go into the text? Ain't nothing but cheerleaders. They ain't nothing but cheerleaders, bro. Yeah, let's hold your breath. Just cheerleaders, bro. That's it. I'm tired of the cheerleaders.
In English, because we teach a lot in English, right? We communicate a lot in English, right? So when we look at terms like that, then we take it apart. We take those things apart, and those things, and what your Egyptologists, Western and African scholars have been doing, is to, based on the information that's presented, meaning the sentence, the
Reg, you gotta just get straight to the point, Reg. You be like lagging. I mean, get straight to the point, brother. You kind of take a while to get to your meat and potatoes, man, or your head busting points. You know, that's just my observation. That's just my observation, man. Who's that talking to me? Real talk. When you hear me anything in this presentation say anything about Israel, huh? Yeah, that's why you gonna lose. That's why you gonna lose, Reggie. You gotta speed it up, bro. This why this yeah nah, you gotta speed it up. Hold up, y'all.
What they're talking about, and they can decide what they believed, what is metaphorical, and etc. like that, right? So, Shay, what does a shrine mean? Because you don't.
I got it up here. I put it on the screen.
Okay.
A shrine is a holy or sacred place dedicated to a god, saint, hero, or ancestor. People visit these places to worship, pray, or show deep respect. Shrines often hold important objects like dealing with religions. So go ahead.
Okay, great. So that's the definition. So that's literal. So that's what a shrine is. So if Jabari has a shrine, he's worshiping what?
He's worshiping or paying deep respect to. It was three different things he could be doing in there.
Right, paying deep respect, appreciation, but to what? What's the subject? To who?
Ma'at.
And who is Ma'at?
Ma'at is symbolic for the peace, justice, equality, and balance, right?
Well, can you have a shrine worshiping? So that would be part of the debate. Okay, so we know here's a shrine, right? So it's a holy place, right? Sometimes to a deity, but he's saying that Ma'at is for example, a principle, a concept. Okay.
In this episode, let's get back to some little bit more information. Then I'm gonna shut it down. But Jabari, you've been doing the same lies and I mean, just for years, bro. But Reggie's not a good. I don't think Reggie's a good opponent for him because Reggie, you got to learn to get to your point, brother. Get to your point. You kind of lag around too much, and that's gonna make you it's gonna make you lose the debate. Yeah, I mean, they already stacked up against you anyway. You got to speed it up. Do not lose my topic. Don't do it, Reggie. Hold up. So let me see. Share the screen. All right, hold up. I'm gonna read one more thing. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Try to keep the show short and sweet. Go back to this. Keep it short and sweet. All right, let's see. All right, let's see where we going. So, I had some questions that I want to present. All right, and this is for you and all you Jabari-lites. Let's see. All right. Y'all see that? Yeah, okay. Make this champ, FOP debate champ, time HOK. Debate champion HOK GOAT. And my latest title, I'm the paradigm shift. as Ray say, I am only a symbol. When the king asks to eat and drink, what Ray eats and drink. This goes for Jose Francis. Show me the line where Thoth refuses the meal because he has no mouth. If the gods are principles, Jabari, Jose Francis, a star 7, any of y'all that's siding with Jabari, if the gods are principle, why does Pepe become God, the son of God? Huh? Where does it say that thou hast received the form of a principle, Jabari Osazi? Huh? Where does Eunice feed of his mother's on his mother's if the Neteru had no bodies? It's what these people literally believed. You got to show it in the text. This is what they write. Show the pyramid text work that calls the eye of Ra a metaphor, Jabari. You can't. Where does it state Hathor's slaughter is allegorical in the book of the heavenly gods? This is what these people believe. They didn't say it was this was their creation, their creation story. This is what they believe in, just like any other culture would believe in their own creation story. Why are the guys giving food offering in the text if they don't eat? Where is the passage stating the king's ascent is psychological and not literal? Huh? Show me where Nut is described as an idea of sky rather than a being lifted up. Show me that in the text. Why do the texts give gods bones of silver and flesh of gold if they are immaterial? Where does Ra say his weirdness is symbolic? These are questions that you got to answer. Show the line where the God's council is called a literacy device. Why do the texts record gods touching the ground with their foreheads if they have no bodies? This is what they believe. They believe in this. Produce one pyramid text that defines Neteru as principle. Number 15. You can't. I got a 75 clip for you, but we ain't gonna go through all 75. We're gonna hit them with a couple more. We're gonna get up out of here. Show me where placing Ra on her back is not physical. Why does Nut tremble from the height if she has no body? This is what they believe. Let me give you a couple more, man. Show me where eating bread in the field is an allegory. Why does the text say only Atum can repel Amarek if Amheh isn't real to them? Show me spell 126 where the flames are called metaphorical. Oh yeah, hold on. Let me metaphorical, meaning the flames of they have a heaven and they have a lake of fire. Produce one coffin text, that's number 30, that says Neterus are not persons. In chapter 105, why bring nation and incense, natron and incense to a ka that isn't literal? Let me give you a couple more. Then I'm going to talk about the ka and the bar before we get up out of here. Where does nut consent to be a metaphorical cow? Why does Ra appoint Osiris and Isis to rule if it isn't real? Produce one line where the heavenly cow says she is not literal. This is what these people believe. Show me where Kum's control of the flood is called symbolic. We need to see that, Jabari. Or any of y'all. Show the text where Happy has no jurisdiction over in innutation. INUNDATION. Why do kings perform rituals to gods for harvest if gods are principles? Show me number 68. Show me where the Kemetyu wrote Neteru means principle. These are some of the things that you have to do. Where does Diab say the Neteru were not literal? Where does Obanga define Neteru as abstract energy? Show me where Carruthers taught that the Neterus were symbols, Jabari. Please do that in your debate. I'm not going to pay and watch for it, but at least do it for the people. Where does the term Neteru even get translated as principle in the ancient inscription? You can't find that. If the Neteru are principles, why do they have temples, priests, food, and beds? Those are just some of the questions that we want you to answer. What did I say I want to show y'all last before we get up out of here? Hold up. Let me see. There's something else I wanted to show. Hold up, y'all. Let me see. What was it? I had another couple. I got a lot of information. I can't show it all in one night. This office. What is this one? Hold up. Coffin Texts, Neteru as offices. All right. This is Coffin Texts, Neteru as offices. Continue. It said, none is inert. I am Neter. Same line. Inert waters versus active authority. They can't be the same. Coffin Text 76. I am Kefri. I repeat life. Life repeating is nature. Kefri is the officer who makes it repeat. Job equals cycles. So these Neterus control elements of nature. Coffin Text 261, land lives because of Heka. Without enforcement, land dies. Nature needs a cop. Neteru is the cop. You understand? Coffin Text 330, Renewatek gives life to plants. Plants grow because she says so. This is what they believe. She isn't the plant. This Neteru isn't the plant. It's the Neteru that controls and grows the plant. Coffin Text 335, I am Lord of cycling. You can become Lord of the cycle. You cannot become Lord of yourself. So you equal cycle. Coffin Text 647, Ptah spoke. World happened. World equal Queb. Ptah speaks it. Speaker equals speech. Coffin Text 1130, I made winds. They disobey me. Winds can disobey. That means they're under orders. Nature takes orders from Neter. Coffin Text 148. Isis binds with her blood knot. Land is what gets bound. Isis does the binding. There were authorities and jurisdictions over these forces and elements of nature. The Neteru was not nature. They were the ones who jurisdict, who controlled, who judged man, who did different things in different powers. They were not nature. Coffin Text 75, Shu is the air, but I am Shu. The text admits air equals Shu. I am Shu means I hold the office of air. Coffin Text 154. Happy brings the flood. Happy carries it. Happy isn't it? Delivery guy, equal package. Coffin Text 242. Geb gives ka to bread. Grain has life force because Geb gives it. Giver equal gift. Coffin Text 317. Sia knows what Hugh commands. Sia is the witness. Hugh is the verdict. Events happen after staff equal event. Coffin Text 646. Ma'at is what Neteru eats. Neteru eats. Law is food for authorities. You don't eat yourself. Coffin Text 714. Adam made millions of life forces. Things have ka because Adam made ka. Maker equals made. Coffin Text 996. Osiris justified in Dejet. Osiris won his case under the law of endurance. Judge equal law. Coffin Text 60. Thoth reckons times. Time passes. Thoth counts it. Counter equal counted. Coffin Text 157. Sap debt opens the year. The star signals New Year. She isn't the year. And here goes the sources right here. Debug, Adrian Debug. These just from Coffin Text 1 through 7. University of Chicago, Oriental Institute. Publication 1935 through 1961. Hieroglyphic edition of Coffin Text 60, 75, 76, 148, 154, 157, 242, 261, 317, 330, 335, 646, 647, 714, 996, 1130. Faulkner. This is some of their favorite scholars. The ancient Coffin Text. And you see right there, there's a source, some more sources right here. But yeah. Coffin Text 76. I am Kepri. I repeat life. Life repeating is nature. Yeah, I read that. Okay. So basically, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I can't give you everything in one night. It would be here all night for real. Hold up. Yeah, we would be here all night. But all right, let me show you one more thing, man. Shit. Hold up. Share screen. I'm gonna give you a little bit more. Wait a minute. I gotta get up out of here. There's something else I wanted to show. Hold up. Hold up. I mean, they've been getting beat up all night. Jabari, if you come to this debate, please bring the text. Oh, yeah. Let me show y'all this, y'all. Let me show y'all this. Yeah, this is important. Let me show y'all this. Yeah. Y'all see this? Show y'all this real quick. Here we go. So, another thing Jabari not going to tell you that they had these ancient commanders had a heaven and they had a lake of fire belief. He's not going to show you that, but I will. Let's see. Hold up. Let me move this over. Real Talk TV. Since Jabari is running from this debate, from me and you can get in the ring. I'm showing you all this, and you still can you show some text? Ancient people believed in what they wrote down, their culture, and what they prepared for an afterlife, and who they thought judged the guy, who they thought had jurisdiction over the stars, the earth, the moon, the land, the water, and even mankind in the book of the heavenly cow. You can get up here and say letters aren't real or literal all you want, but I'm going by what the text say. I'm not going by what I feel good just to be running my mouth saying. So you need to get up here, real talk, and bring information. Or you just like Jabari. or you just like Osiris 7, or you just like goddamn Jose Francis. And the rest of these guys are just running their damn mouth and ain't backing it up with information. Is that what we do now? That's what we do in the community. We just, oh, well, because I think so. Well, I'm showing you source reference material. And in order for me to take you serious, for you to even oppose my information, that means you have to do the same or shut the hell up. I'm not gonna play with y'all, man. Not on this topic. Any other topic that I oppose or represent. You just running your mouth. So we're gonna take that comment off the screen. All this I've been showing all night, he want to get up here and run his goddamn mouth and say they're not real literal. Yeah, cheerleaders. That's all it is, cheerleaders, y'all. All right, let's keep going. Okay, man, yeah, cheerleader, man, y'all too old to be cheerleaders. You're supposed to be, bringing the information over. You can't refute somebody and then just because you feel like, because I feel like saying, and don't bring nothing to the goddamn table. Where they do that at? What the hell's going on, man? I gotta cut this out. This fanboy stuff gotta stop, man. Damn. What the hell's going on, man? All right, here we go. All right. So the Egyptian, this is the last one we're gonna get up out of it. Egyptian beliefs, and we'll continue this another day. Egyptian beliefs in heaven and hell and lake of fire, Jabari. Textual proof from funerary literature and what the lake represented for the deceased. The heavens, the field of reeds, Ara. The field of reeds was the Egyptian afterlife and idealized vision of one's life on earth. Death was not the end of life, but a transition into another part of one's eternal journey. Everything thought to have been lost at death was returned, and then with no pain. This is the heaven, y'all. There's no pain and obviously no threat of death as one lived on the presence, in the presence of the gods. Y'all see that? This is what they believed. How you gonna take that away from them just because you feel like, oh, well, this is a new age way of thinking. We didn't think like them, and we're not in it for the. Hold up, man. Somebody just hit my damn thing. Hold up. I heard a blue. Yeah, what's going on, Elder?
Hey, you are.
So let me continue. Go ahead, Elder. You want to speak? How you doing? Yeah, you must got a delay. Can you hear me? Hold on, let me see. How you doing, Elder Patar? So, this so-called debate with Reggie and Jabari, I see that you more on. Okay, he just came in to speak. Your mouth, you ain't coming with no sources, bro. This is my argument for the last 7-8 years, man. So how you gonna try to tell me? And I'm showing you the evidence, and you still want to. This is what I'm talking about, man. People like you, when you show them the evidence, and they still refuse to even take a look at it, they still want to hold firm to the opposition of your evidence. They not trying to learn. They just pushing a narrative that was just been regurgitated and taught to them over and over and over and over. And when you know better, you should do better. Period. It ain't got nothing to do with no being no sensitive, bro. But you running your mouth. And because I say you running your mouth, who the one getting sensitive? Not me. I just tell the truth. You running your mouth with no sources, no references, no peer-reviewed articles, no scholars that agree with you. Just a fan favorite of Jabari. That's it. So let's continue. Hold up. So let's move this. I'll link up here for you. since you about to prove me wrong, and you better come with source material. That's what you better do, or you just a link, a link in the audience. Real talk. I know you've been before, but hey, if you can't come on no source material, then you just running your mouth. The link is in the chat right here. You just said Jabarielite. That's it. We don't take Jabarielite serious because they just marking what he say. They under the assumption that he is never wrong. He has never lost a discussion or a debate. That's a lie. So, yeah, okay, which one? All right. For the reason it was just idealized vision of one's life on earth. Death was not the end, but a transition to another part of eternal journey. Everything thought to have been lost at death was returned and was no pain. Obviously, no threat of death as one lived on in the presence of the gods, doing as one had done on earth, with everything the soul had after love. This vision developed by the Middle Kingdom and fully elaborated in the New Kingdom. The soul was granted eternal paradise based on virtue after passing judgment in the Hall of Truth. The Book of the Heavenly Cow links this directly. Ra creates the fiddle reeds after deciding he will not destroy humanity, establishing on it as a divine estate. About the lake of fire, the lake of flames. The lake of fire is known in Egyptian as the lake of flames, served as both perilous obstacles and a source of purification for the deceased navigating the duat. Earliest reference appeared in the Coffin Texts and are elaborated in the Book of the Dead, spell 126. Jabari, when are you going to break out some spells for us to prove your point that they didn't start Ra was a goddamn idea, a concept, a principle? We need to see it. I mean, you've been going on for years and years and years, and ain't nobody, I'm the only one to challenge you to bring out some text from the coffin, the book, the coming forward by day and night. You don't do that. You just run your goddamn mouth. The lake is portrayed as a rectangular body of water surrounded by flames and guarded by 4 baboons associated with Thoth. These baboons could either protect or rejuvenate the righteous or annihilate the wicked who fail to recite correct spells. Jabari, we don't even see you teaching any spells or invoking any of the. Yeah, we'll go to Utterance 534 in the conference. We don't see you do that. You know how the Hebrews and the Christians, go to Psalms 35, verse 1 through 8. Read. We don't see you do that, sir. We just see you give your vague opinions, and you just out here just putting down the Bible. What type of priest run around and put down the Bible and don't even teach about the ancient Kemetic texts? Where did they find this guy, man? So early references appear in the Coffin Text and are elaborated in the Book of the Dead, spell 126. The lake is portrayed by a rectangular body, like I said, guarded by 4 baboons. So this is what these people literally believed. That's what they believed. That this was literal. These baboons could either protect or rejuvenate the righteous or annihilate the wicked who failed to recite correct spells. In the papyrus of Ani, 4 baboons are shown seated at the corners, facing outwards, serving as guardians to prevent the unworthy from passing. This is what they believed. They literally believed this. Textual example, preservation from scalding. I am the ore, made ready for roaring. Whereas once Ra transported the boat containing the divine ancestors and lifted up moist emanations of Osiris from the lake of fire, and he was not burnt. What the lake represented for the deceased? Final test, not eternal torture. Unlike later Christian ideas, the Egyptian lake could destroy or purify. The Egyptians believed in the possibility of a second death, where the soul is deemed unworthy, who cease to exist, a fate considered worse than the death itself. There's more agency. Those who failed to the judgment could be cast into the lake, leading to annihilation. The lake did not always provide a guaranteed path to salvation, and its stakes were permanent. Purification for the worthy, for the righteous who knew spells, the flame cleansed, the baboons protected. Passing the lake meant the soul could proceed to the field of reeds, residents of punishing deities. How about the residents of punishing deities? Deities within the eternal landscape often resides Amhet, whose name translates to devourer of millions or eater of eternity, depicted as a man with the head of a hunting dog. He embodies destruction. Only Atum can repel him. Amit, the devourer at judgment, waits nearby, but Amhet dwells in the lake itself. Iconography in 21st Dynasty depiction, human figures appear within the flames representing enemies of the king. Okay. Relationship to the heavens. The heavens were not automatic. The soul left the Hall of Truth, crossed Lily Lake, where the ferryman Haf, and only then reached the shores of the field of reeds. The lake of fire stood as a checkpoint between judgment and paradise. To reach the field where the Nile flowed, crops swayed, and they blessed dead, worked joyfully, one who had to survive fire. This is what these people literally believed. Thus, the Egyptian cosmos was tiered: earth, life, duat, toil, trial, including the lake of fire, the Aru, heavenly fields, the gods, Osiris as judge, Thoth as a recorder, Ma'at as feather, baboons as guardian, administrator, each tier as literal officials. The lake of fire proves the Kemetic view of the afterlife as governed by persons and places. It was not a metaphor for conscience. It was a fire lake guarded by baboons, inhabited by Amhet, crossed by spells for the deceased. It represented the ultimate risk, second death, and annihilation or purification, and the passage to the field of reeds. The heavens were earned, not given, and the lake was a final exam administered by the Neteru. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Jabari never teach you the real truth about this, man, because he has an agenda. He's just trying to, keep his cult going. You see all them the new Jabari lights. There's about 4 or 5 new ones over there on the channel on that channel over there. He could be rolling in 2 left shoes. But Jabari said they're gonna go out and cheerlead. I'm not cut like that, Who was this now? This. Okay, we got who are you talking to? It's open to us, my cousin. Okay, all right. Came late, cause I'm almost done smashing this dude head. Yeah. All right, hold up. Let's see what else I got before I get up out of here. Bro, what do you mean look up the definition of Neteru? I mean, you come tell us. You think it mean nature? Come on, man. That's outdated information, man. That ain't what them people believe. Stop playing with us. Man, you still act like you stuck in 2013, the polite era. Uh-oh. All right, hold up. Okay, so he wants to know what I guess he wants to know. Oh, come on, man. Hold up. We'll go to this last one. I can't get you all my meat and potatoes in one day. Command divine beings with yours. All right, so let's look at this. Did I read y'all this one? So you want to know the definition of Neteru? I got you. I got you, sir. I got you. All right, I got you. Tell me if this is showing. Yeah, I got you, sir. I got you. Like I said, you Jabari lights, man. Y'all gonna learn today. All right. That goes for you, Jose Francis and Asar 7 and I don't know where these new cats coming from. But they don't learn today. Now the Kemetic Neteru, little divine beings with jurisdiction over nature. The study of the first dynasty, retainer burial, sacred texts, and the meaning of the Neteru. That's what you're gonna learn today at the Lions Inn Academy of Education and Information. So we bring it out. Here we go. Study of the first dynasty, retainer burial, sacred texts. The introduction, the ancient Kemetic people did not worship abstract principles. They recorded the Neteru that the Neteru were living, conscious beings who ruled over the forces of nature. Let me say that one more time. For Harwin and Jabari and the rest of the little peanut gallery over there, the ancient Kemetic people did not worship abstract principles. They recorded in Neteru that the Neteru were living, conscious beings who ruled over the forces of nature. The word Neteru itself, written with a flagpole hieroglyph, was used for god or goddesses and was carried the seated god determinative that marks the divine person, not an idea, Jabari. Reggie's gonna dog walk you if he can get straight to the point and stop beating around the bush. Because you definitely wouldn't last with me. Definition of Neteru. Since what's the name of the audience? I want to know what the definition of Neteru is. In ancient Egyptian religion, the word for God is commonly written as Neteru, NR, translated as Neter or Neger. The hieroglyphic symbolizes divine power or essence. It is used to describe gods and goddesses of the Egyptian pantheon, as well as divine forces in nature. Early Egyptologists noticed that the hieroglyph was used both as a determinative of this word and also as an ideograph for God. The common word given by the Egyptians to God and spirits of every kind was Neter. The determinative that follows divine names is the seated God figure or goddess, indicating a personal being. Jabari, not a concept. This is distinct from determinatives for abstract ideas, Jabari Osazi. What's wrong with you? Neteru, divine words. Neteru means divine words. It is an ancient Egyptian hieroglyph writing system used from 3100 BCE to 400 CE, seen as a gift from Thoth. It held sacred power and was used for religious texts, decrees, and inscriptions. I don't know why Jabari just won't tell the truth. Oh, here's Asar Khan in the building. Okay. What's up, Asar? Can you hear me?
In the chat, yeah. My microphone wouldn't come on. Yeah. I'm in my truck.
Yeah, how you been, brother?
Man, fam, I'm tired driving across.
Hey, you remember the time I came over? You remember the time I came over? Yeah, man. What? Put your seatbelt on, man. Drive safe. This is real talk, but you really run your mouth in the audience. But I put the link in there for you to come with sources, with references, with coming from the Coffin Texts and the Pyramid Text. But you just want to be a cheerleader. So let me ask you something, Patah. Sorry, Ka. Who do you got in this debate from this topic from me for years? But
you know, I don't got either one of them. I'm just there to watch. You know, they my brothers, so I ain't cheering for neither. I'm just watching, and it'll probably be a draw. Because two things are right at the same time in this instance. So, and then I'm watching everybody just kind of flail over things because you know, a lot of people haven't read the text. You know, that's all we've been playing. Like, go read the text, go peep it out, go see what's going on. It's just a lot of conjecture going on, and I just be like, what are you talking about? All these new experts We got atheist experts. We got Christian experts. I'm like, what the heck? Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Where these guys coming from, man? Popping out.
Yeah.
I'm like,
we got picture scholars. I'll be like, man, what are y'all? Read the text. Even if they read it in English, like you read it in English, and you can see what's going on for the most part. Certain things we have to make more clerical because we like the Medu Neter say this, the scholar's trying to tell you this. This obviously doesn't match this. Just caught a Christian scholar trying to call the Amu people Canaanites. I'm like, what are you doing? But he's trying to make the picture fit his narrative. But right in between their legs, it spells Amu. He says, these are the Canaanites. No. So you just have to watch what's going on with a lot of cats that's out here right now because they just guessing. And sometimes you got to sit down and get versed in what you want to master. If you want to be a master of something, you got to go study it so you understand it and comprehend it. You don't picture scholarship it. You don't make conjecture out of the blue. You don't claim something that's not in the text just because it feels good. And you don't back somebody just because it's your favorite. You just sit back and watch the information and let the information correct your thinking. Oh, well, that's that's the balance that's not being shown here. But we're going to see what happens. I wish both my brothers well. What I really want to see is them debate and then put this nonsense underfoot with them combating each other with this, it'd be a little too beefy beef. Yeah, like y'all been friends before y'all was supposed enemies. Y'all ain't done nothing to each other.
Yeah, but this was my topic, man.
Y'all did. I don't know why. Debate. I mean, what I'm saying, get to it.
Yeah. And then we were supposed to do it on HOK. And as long as I was over there when I was over there, Jabari wasn't popping out with this topic because he know he would be challenged. Now all of a sudden, he back.
Yeah, retain the sacrifice is something.
Literal's real, and I mean, come on, bro.
Well, you remember we went through that whole thing because it was Jabari, Garfield, Sanjetti, and Shaka was trying to combat it, but he didn't really have the primaries at first. And then I pulled them primaries out on the Facebook because Garfield wanted to see what I had to say. I started pulling them out. Like, look, here, you want to look at the cult of Asar? When they would get rid of the captives and slam them on this altar, that altar's still over there with some of the blood on it. Ain't nobody playing with no Shasu. When you got to go, you got to go. So, yeah, it happens. It's when it's war, it's up. When it's up, then it's stuck.
Right, but how come we never see Jabari go into the text?
He go in the text. If you go watch the show, he go in the text. He go in a little bit. I like what Jabari do. Everybody gonna have a lane, but what I will say with him, he's well studied in the game, like I'm well studied in the game, and we Shemsu at the end of the day, The only real differences are, like, I like to get authentic to the letter, because they be, oh, you can't recreate such and such. Like, please, you got Judaism, Christianity, and Islam birthed from this thing, but all of a sudden we can't get it right. You got Greeks doing the same festivals and a lot of the same practices, but all of a sudden when it comes to black people, you can't readjust or restudy it or figure out what they was just doing. Simple as that. Like, they crazy. These cats is crazy.
So let me let Open the Knowledge say something. What's up, cousin? How you feel, brother?
Yo, what's up, cousin? How you doing, JJ? Man, I just come to show support for you. And my favorite used to be Hebrew, JJ7K. You ain't no Hebrew no more. And now my favorite Kemetic brother up here, Sa. He already know. That's my brother
That's
right
my
there,
brother
man.
right there. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Word. Peace and love to y'all. Hope all is well with y'all and family.
Man, Imhotep, my
Hey.
favorite Indian. In a minute.
Yeah.
Man, I was just getting ready.
Hey, I'm JJ favorite
I was just
American
getting ready to-
Indian too. You already know. Hey, Asa, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are the Netters?
Go ahead.
All right. The Netters is a religion, correct? The Netta is a religion.
The Neter is, yeah, you could say that. It's a spiritual system. You can't see. Here's the problem. You know, what looks like religion and what's called religion and what's called spirituality are two different things. Spirituality is
we
what
had a
they call
spirituality system over here. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
They don't deem us good enough to have a religion. Remember, that's what the scholars said. So what we do is just spirituality because we don't worship one God. So we're spiritual because we're pagan. They're religious because they only have one God, even though Christianity has three that bear record in
I was
heaven.
about to say, man, at their core of that though, they wouldn't consider
I tell you,
religious
sick.
per se because they had three different gods that was fighting against each other. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely.
El,
So
Yah, but
yeah.
when it comes to the Shemsu, which is follow. So Shemsu, I'm a Shemsu Asar, right? Let's break some stuff down real quick. I'm a Shemsu Asar. That means I follow the ways of Asar, right? That's the nature for me.
The sun.
He died in November, right? In the initial calendar. They call it Kaher Ka is the name of the month. Ka, spirit, Por, ancestor, Ka, spirit. Spirit, ancestor, spirit, right? Kaher
So
Ka.
that brings back the Ka and the Ba. Okay.
No, the Ka is the spirit, ancestor,
the Ka of the
and
Ba.
spirit.
Right. I got you.
Spirit of the spirit. Spirit, ancestor, spirit, if you will. Right? So the month we celebrate the ancestors. There's a particular day in that month where we leave the doors open, we leave the windows open, we invite the ancestors in to eat the food because, as you know, the prayer starts just by saying grace. That's basically what you're doing. You giving them food offerings. The way you get to the heavens is through good deeds, your ma'at, the incense, which is the ladder, and the libations poured for them. So we invite them for dinner when that month comes around. November 6th.
The three-step system?
No, it's even more than that. There's other things that you can do. But this is the basis of what we do and how we move. When we do what we call Hesi, which is usually priest work, but it's also, individual work when you talk to your Aku, which are the effective beings. That's what the word means, to be an Aku, to be a Yedim Wasik, a sweet-smelling soul, or to be an imperishable star, because we believe that the the heavens, and the Aru, fill the gold, starts by the constellation of Orion. And it's at the lower part of the star where you see the nebula. Yeah. So this is in the text. This is what we know. This is what we see. So we think that when you die, that you will join when you go to the archetype, when you go to the field of gold or to the blessed heaven, that you will join the ancestors in the northern sky, the imperishable stars. Called imperishable, why? Because them northern stars never fade, right? Now, me in particular.
So, Asar, hold on. Let me ask you this. The reason why I asked you that about the netters and all of that, bro, is because did everybody know the netters? Or did everybody know the meta netter? Or did everybody know the script that was taught to the people who was practicing netters? In other words, was it for the overall community, or was it for the priests and holy people?
Oh, the whole community, right? And the reason you know it's for the whole community is because
all the Africans are know how to speak Kemetic?
Huh?
So all the Africans know how to cipher the
Are you asking about the literacy, or are you asking about following the faith?
Yeah, I'm asking about was this taught to everybody? Not did everybody know how to read this? That's what I asked you about the reading this. Did everybody know how to read this? Yeah.
So you asking about literacy and
spirituality system, because we know that was spread, and that could be spread without any literacy as far as reading and you know writing, as far as reading and writing to even be concerned. Right.
So you asking about the faith. Okay. So when you talk about following a Shemsu, or when you talk about following the Neteru, Shemsu is the following Neteru, then each clan is going to have a different Neteru, because you got different clans of Africans that are joined together to make this locality. So not everyone followed the same Neteru, which is why they put together the national mythos to see how the Neteru came together. Some of those coming together was based off a war, such as the Set, Hor, and Asar story. So we find in a particular myth, and we also find the number of bodies that got killed in the war in the myth, with the Asar, Set, and Hor story. And basically, long story short, you had 3 different factions. The Set people started to kill the Asarians for a particular thing, supposedly cannibalism or whatever the case, and they tried to eradicate them. But the Shemsu Hor jumped in it and joined the Asar clan, and then the Shemsu Hor and the Asar clan and some of the Aset clan, it seems a little later, start to jump the Set clan. And then they push the Set clan back down south and then start to regulate the north and what have you, things of that nature. So that's one of the myths that comes up, which is not a myth. That's actually a story about armies clashing. But that's where the myth comes from those armies clashing. So when you talk about the following of the Neteru, you have Shemsu Set. They do things like Set would do. You have Shemsu Aset. They do things like Aset would do. You have Shemsu Asar. And when the king was on the throne, he was recognized as the Shemsu Hor. He was recognized. We have a phrase called Nefer Necher. Do you know what it means?
He fell off.
Nefer Necher.
He fell off, right? He fell off.
Oh, he fell off? Okay.
Yeah, he'll be back.
So for the audience, y'all know what Nefer Necher means?
No.
Yeah, so I'm just seeing if they know. So the phrase Nefer Necher means good God. Right?
Say it again.
That's where you get it from. Nefer Necher means good God. Good God. So if you hear me, so I'll be like, Nefer Necher, man. Y'all, my goodness. So when we say that, in sentences, you'll find that Nefer Necher is talking about the Nesut B'ti, the king. So he's either called the good God or he's called the little God. Why? Because he acts as the medium between you and the major Neteru, right?
That's right.
And he's Horus on earth doing for his father Asar. When he dies, he transforms from Horus to Asar. And you will follow in the train of Horus until you become an Asar. And he does the same thing. Now,
so they literally
in the
believe
pyramid
this.
text, and this is what I'm talking. They don't even read the text. They don't read the text. We could take one glyph tonight, and I could show you the dynamic of things that happen, right? So everybody always talks about the Ka. And when you see the Ka, you think, oh, no, the Ka's this, the Ka's that. You speculation. Where's the text for it? So they say that, you know, you're possessed by such and such. Some people, no spirit goes in me. No, you know, there's all this other stuff. But what's actually in the text, and I put it on Facebook not maybe a month or two ago, the Ka is the spirit.
Okay.
When you find the text, it said Amen hugs you and breathes life into you. This is your Ka.
That ain't no principle.
And so you see the arms of embrace as the Ka figure. That's the hug of Amen to you. He breathes into you. That's your spirit. Right. So now you got spirit from Amun in you. And the spirit of Amun is Asar. So the Ka means that. That's the definition of the Ka. It's the embrace of Amen. It's the embrace of your fellow brother when they hug you. That's why they have the open arms as the symbol. So when people speculate about these things, now you can see two things. One, a hug is a real thing. Two, arms are a real thing. Three, Ka is spirit. We know when your spirit fizzles out your energy that makes you animated, your Akub, the effectiveness inside you, once that energy goes, it'll no longer be in you and it'll transform and leave your body. But we know it can't be destroyed. We just don't know what form it will take next. But almost rest assured that it's going to take a form because you was just two beings inside your mother and inside your father as sperm and egg, alive. Then you came together as one in your mother's womb. And you grew into a baby. And you weren't even eating from your mouth. You was eating from your stomach, which is why you got a navel button. Your fourth life is this one. And your fifth life will be a transformation. But you don't know what it's going to be yet. You don't get nervous. You just get ready. That way you can really stay ready for real. Right. That's the
talk about the immortal spirit.
Yeah,
that's the life force.
Yeah, that's why we say the imperishable stars. You're going to meet Ra, whether you believe in Jesus, Allah, Yahweh. You're going to meet Allah, or you're going to meet Ra, pardon me. Why? Because here we go to the literal. So now we know what a hug is. We see it's a concept. We see it's an idea. And we see it's a literal thing that happens. You're going to meet Ra, whether you like it or not, because in solar systems, the planets around the suns get sucked into the suns. You're going to meet Ra, whether you like it or not. Because if you get buried on this planet, eventually you're going to be absorbed into the sun. You can't even escape the sun. You just spin around it. Unless you hop on a spaceship, one of these Keplers, and shoot off into outer space somewhere, you're gonna meet the Aten. You seen that cartoon where it's the preacher, it's the imam, and it's the rabbi. They be like, we're gonna find out who God is right now. And then they go behind the curtain and it's Ampu. No, it's Ra, and the other one is Ra. You're gonna meet the sun regardless. Earth is gonna get absorbed by Ra eventually. Now, Ra is not only figurative in that statement, it's a literal thing. And Geb will be absorbed by Ra. And that's a literal thing. Because that's what they call the earth, and that's what they call the sun. And it's also concept. And it's also figurative. But it's definitely literal. So while you breathe in this shoe in, this air.
According to them people. So Shu had authority over the air.
Yeah, Shu is the air.
Ask you this. So let me ask you this. So when they say that the Neteru is okay, they're just nature. Where do they
But we just talked about nature. We talked about the earth. That's nature. The sun is nature. The solar system is nature. You want the birds and bees story? Watch.
But listen, Neteru was never described in as nature, the ground, the water. They had these Neterus had jurisdiction over these elements of nature.
What text is that?
Let me get it up.
Yeah. See, so if you talk about jurisdiction, then you gotta be able to either show the text, or you gotta be able to show the actuality. So
I got all that.
So Ra is the sun. That's nature. Geb is the earth. That's all the nature we know.
Ra control. Listen, each of these Neterus had a jurisdiction power over nature. Nature cannot wear the ankh. Nature cannot eat. These people describe these people as eating, as having emotions. These beings as controlling the now. They just wasn't a principle or a concept as Jabari Osazi is trying to convey to the audience. And then look, Chet Atadia, the African origin of civilization, argues that Neteru were Black African deities. Theopo Banga, the Congo linguist, demonstrates Egyptian as Negro Egyptian language family. I mean, these are the scholars that refute everything that Jabari says. Jabari's going to lose his debate.
It's going to be a tight one. It's going to be a tight one.
So give me some of Jabari's. Give me some of the text that Jabari can go into to prove that the Neterus were not literal according to the ancient Kemetics. I have yet.
I mean, conceptually,
I yet found it.
You know, he could go into like you say ankh is it's not wearing an ankh, but nature is the ankh, right? And we get the ankh from the cattle horns that turn circular because life is through the cows, and that's what they were. So the Shemsu Hor began the counting of years and your very first date in time by I believe it was every 2 years they did the cattle count. So those 2 years became 1 year. And it went on like that for a while until eventually they made a year 360 days and then 365 later. So you're going to see nature in its finest form. When Kaher Kar comes, what I was telling you all about before, what do? We eat of the body of Asar. We drink of the efflux of Asar, just like you eat Jesus's body and you drink Jesus's blood. And they used to make the little plant figure of Asar for you to eat. And they used to, and they make the cornbread. That's the Asar cake. The recipe is pretty much the same, and it's still on the wall in ancient Egypt. So you're eating of the cakes of Asar. He's the one that invented wine, made it from grapes. Said that drinking too much of it would drive you crazy because your enemy's blood flowed into the land and into the vine. But he's the one they say made wine. And then of course they say Jesus made water out of wine. But that's in the Asar story. Eating of his body is that's the Asar story. They have here's the literal part. They have like about 27 burial chambers for Asar throughout ancient Kemet, and some of them are still up. Each body part that was cut up by Set is supposed to be in one of those or around one of those. So when I start to ask them, I'll be like, okay.
Let me read this real.
Okay.
Yeah, let me read this real quick, and then you respond. So Neteru as beings with jurisdiction. Kemetic texts never called Neter a principal. They call them lords, ladies, kings, and mothers who commanded nature. Ra, bones of silver, flesh of gold, hair of lapis lazuli, a described body, not an idea. Hathor, Kemet, sent to smite mankind in the book of the heavenly cow. This is what these people literally believe in their creation story and the separation of Ra from mankind. And where Ra had to repent for even doing this and sent Kemet's, 7,000 gallons of beer, how many gallons or whatever it was. They believe
red wine.
Red wine, my fault.
Yeah, they didn't believe that literally. They would tell that through the story of the stars and the happening in the stars.
Okay, explain that.
And this is why we say it's of nature, because a lot of these happenings, for instance, when we talk about the separation of Asar, you know what that story is told from. It's in the Coffin Texts, one of them.
Well,
and so it talks about the lunar moon appearing and disappearing. And so it happens through the season, where at the winter solstice, Aset and Nebuchadnezzar start to call Asar to come back to life. Why? Because the days go from longer to shorter. And at the winter solstice, they go from shorter to longer. They start to get longer again. Summer solstice, winter solstice. When you talk about the moon, the first days, the first part of the days are when Asar is doing his thing. And then the last part is when Set has hacked him to pieces. And it goes from there. Because the moon starts to disappear. Where do you think they got the 28 parts from? That's the lunar moon cycle. And so it tells you this pretty much directly in the Coffin Text. Heru's eye, when his eye comes out, and then he has to put it back in. That's also another story describing the moon. The moon cycles. So, and it's in the court. All you got to do is read the text. That's why I say read. We put a cat up here all day, and I'd be like, tell me how the birds and the bees happened in ancient Egypt. They'd just be sitting there. But if you really knew how it went down, you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to say, number one, Asar represents the what? What is the Nasut Bidi? Watch, we'll do this real quick and show you how nature's involved. The Nasut Bidi is made up, the term of the Neteru plant from the south and the bees up north. The Neteru beti are the birds and the bees. Or I'm sorry, are the plants and the bees. Aset, when Asar dies or passes, she turns into a bird, doesn't she? And she makes a golden phallus that she sits on. She swoons her wings up until she can make a child. And once she makes the child out of what Asar has, now she can produce, just like photosynthesis. So you have the plant, which is pollinated by the bee, and then you have the birds do their part, carrying seeds and what have you around. You have the honey, which is the golden phallus, and you have the regeneration take place of Asar, because after she does this, she's able to get pregnant. Asar comes back to life, and he impregnates her, supposedly. This is the birds and the bees. This is simple.
So let me ask you this. The word Neteru was never described as mu, water, ta, land, tajat, wind and air, ket, fire and heat, pet, sky. The Neteru are said to rule these, not be them. These are elements of nature described in their own language. Neteru was never described as an element like water, land, wind,
that
earth,
wouldn't be true
air,
because,
fire.
well, I mean, you can dead that conversation there, because what is happy? What is the nature happy?
Now, the has jurisdiction.
What is the nature happy? Yeah, he's the river, isn't he?
Jurisdiction over the river.
Happy is the river, literally. What is Asar when they call him the Great Green? When they call him Kim Ware, the Great Black, he represents the land of Kemet, doesn't he? And the Levant, because he's the Great Green, right? It says it in the pyramid text directly. So we know that whatever you're reading right there has some flaws in it, because we can already pull up text that would show that we can see some of these as nature literally. What is Ra? The sun. What is the Aten? The disk of the sun. Everything you named is a piece of nature. Now, when it talks about the jurisdictions, you have to recognize the Neteru in each septile, in each city-state. There's their jurisdiction.
Right. They have jurisdiction over these elements.
Yeah. Over certain cities, the Neteru is going to be in charge. And so you give praise in the ways of that Neteru.
So,
in other words,
say it again. Say it again. So the Neteru is going to be in charge. They literally
the
believe
Neteru are in charge of that city-state. So in the name of that Neteru, whoever's running that, whichever mayor is running that, a viceroy, just like the United States, you got different mayors that make money off the state. That's who's in charge of it. And that person is a servant of that particular Neteru for that state. Why? Because he's part of that cult. What is a cult? It's the culture of that area. And so the culture of that area sees Neteru as a certain thing. They have a certain value for the highest thing that is divine. Some cases it's Asar. Some cases it's Heru. There's a cult of Heru too. We've seen a lot of Hebrews in the Sinai Peninsula making golden calves. Why? Because Heru was the Neteru for you. So we know what's going on. And really, they were just Semitics. We can't say they were Hebrews, but they were Semitics. So when you're looking at the different areas that the Neteru control or were the boss of, or a cult was in charge of in that area, a culture belonged to a people of that area, that's the jurisdiction that they're talking about. Now, let's get to the animal worship that people keep discussing and talking about, right? They had an alligator that they nicknamed Sobek, and they put him in the Nilometer. The Nilometer would tell you how much the flood would rise for that year. And the crocodile would either be able to get out or he wouldn't, and they would keep feeding him food. And so they didn't think an ancestor was in that particular animal. That's an African, inner African belief, where they believe that the animals are the ancestors, and he you know, they believe that the ancestors were the Aku in the northern sky. But when it comes to the ancestors, or the not the ancestors, when it comes to the animals, they would deify a particular animal and take a likeness to it. It's like a mascot for the year. So the bulls, they would have that white spot on them, and they would be all black. Those bulls were not to be slain. And if something happened to that bull and it was your fault, you would die with the bull. These bulls and other animals of sacred nature, such as rams, for the cult of Amun, they get specified treatment, and they would get buried in a special way. They did this with boats as well. In fact, everything is a netra, according to them. And when we come over here, which is why I used to bring up the book Drums and Shadows all the time, the belief was the same in the people, our culture, that came over here early on. It's a story from a lady in there. She said, there's a spirit in the air. There's a spirit in the door. There's a spirit in that cat over there. There's a spirit. And then there's fixers. And then there's such and such. Oh, I love me some Jesus. They were talking to those who got forced into conversion when they got over here in America. Drums and Shadows is
so let me ask you this. How do you get around the Book of the Heavenly Cow? The Book of the Heavenly Cow details humanity's rebellion against the sun god. Against the sun god Ra. His destruction of rebels through Hathor and Ra's subsequent ascension into the heavens, his separation from mankind. These people believe that this happened. This is in their text. No principle can drink beer. No principle can grow old. No principle, none of that. This is their story of creation, what they believed in, literally believed in. This is their story of the fall of man, and how Ra sent Kemet down to destroy man, and why they do certain rituals to stop her from even coming back. These people literally believe that this happened. Now, how do you non-literalize this story, the Book of the Heavenly Cow? Go ahead.
Well, no one believed that it literally happened in that fashion.
This is their creation story. This is what they wrote. You can't just say that without going into some kind of text and saying, no, these people didn't believe that.
Yeah, no one believed that literally happened. They believed that it happened in nature, which means that. So watch this, and I'll explain it. This way you can start to understand some of the mythos. No one is explaining that particular mythos to you, so you don't know it, right? So when they talk about Heru Behudet, when do they talk about the action taking place?
Let me pull up the Book of Heavenly
in the day.
Let me pull it. So are you saying that they didn't believe in the book of book of the Heavenly Cow is no different than any other creation
we about to
story?
go there, but don't try to move around it. Just answer. If you don't know, sit back. I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna tell you because I read the text. That's how I know. But yeah. So
what's
let
the
me ask
rebellion
you
against
this.
the sun god Ra? Humanity.
We're gonna get to that. We're about to tackle that.
Go ahead.
Well, number one, Ra became old and man started to rebel against Ra, right? So as man begins to rebel against Ra, he sends Kemet to destroy man.
Right.
And they start to destroy man. And man starts to cry out to Ra, like, oh, we was tripping. I don't know what came over us. We was tripping. And so then he says, make some wine. Send the red wine. This is where, and it's a story about the use of red wine. Send the red wine, which should pacify her, etc., etc. So she gets drunk, she gets tipsy, and she no longer kills the mankind. Ra's still disgusted with the people, so he tells Newt to do what? You read the story now. Yeah, tells Newt to lift him high above the sky. He grew tired of it.
On top of the cow.
Yeah, so he goes high in the sky and is the sun at a particular time in the day, correct? Let's go even further though. Let's go to a different story so we can start to get into some of how these stories come into existence.
Stay into the book of the Heavenly Cow. Now you're gonna tell me that these people didn't believe that this was their literal creation story, this was their literal punishment, and this is why they still do the wine ritual to stop Kemet or Kemet from coming back.
Oh, there's a ritual.
The same thing that she did to mankind. And
there's a ritual.
Did Ra repent? Ra repented.
Oh, it's repenting.
So you're not going to tell me they didn't literally believe this happened. This is in their history. This is in their culture. This is not no Western stuff. This is not no Western. Listen, this is not no Western stuff. This is in their text. This is what. So are you saying they don't believe?
There's different types of text though. There's sacerdotal text. There's religious text.
What's the afterlife?
There's
these people prepared them.
What type of text is that one?
But let's let Copper Draco speak for a second.
What type of text is that one? You see what I'm saying? That explains a lot of things. Just that alone. That's the sacerdotal, right? So when it comes to let's go to a different myth, right? When Heru beats up Seth and drags him through the country, this is Heru Behudet, when he rages against Seth and wins. He drags him all through Kemet. And as he's dragging Seth through Kemet, he's cursing and all types of stuff. And this is one of the reasons they call him Stinking Mouth, other than the vomit at the party. That's the other reason they call him Stinking Mouth. They also call Heru Stinking Mouth because he has stinky breath like a baby with the milk in his mouth, right? But it's generally, and that's like a beef story back and forth. Oh, y'all calling Seth Stinking Mouth? We calling Heru Stinking Mouth. He was a babe. His breath smelled like Similac, you know what I'm saying, basically. So he's dragging Horus through, or he's dragging Seth on his chariot all through the country. And what is Seth doing when he's dragging him through the country? He's cursing and being mad, and he's giving names to the cities of ancient Kemet. That's how they get their names in the myth.
I want to ask just a couple sidebar questions, and I promise I'm not trolling. I promise I'm not trolling.
You could troll if you like. It's all good. It don't matter.
Now, with all the Kemet, how is it like? with everything y'all been saying, how is this beneficial? Like, how does this benefit you in life?
How does it benefit you in life? When you follow the ethics of ancient Kemet, then it's transformational, brother. So, you know, it would be like me picking out a weird story about the Benjamites and asking you, how did that assist you in life? Right? So in this instance, it's not only beneficial, this is the ancient way of telling how things happen in the sky. So number one, some of these stories are how you get your calendar, such as the Behudet story with Heru that I'm discussing. They're telling you how these localities were named in your country. So a parent is telling this to their child, and it's also telling you that Heru is hottest in the noontime when this takes place, and they're telling you that that's why the sun is called Heru Behudet at noon. That's the benefit in ancient Kemet. For us now, we could tell the story and understand how we got 12 o'clock noon from that situation. Why do you even call 12 o'clock noon? You ain't think about noon, huh? You ain't. You see, so these are the benefits we get from it because it's giving you the ancient story, but the ethic codes is why we study ancient Kemet. And then we turn around and look at some of the other faiths and we say there's some good things and there's some bad things. And this particular thing right here turns you completely against your African self. Why would you accept that over this? When you know that came from this, and this doesn't demonize you, but divinates you.
Do you feel like we're indigenous to the planet? Like niggas, we're indigenous to the planet, or just in Africa?
Like black folks created everybody? It has to be. DNA show that.
That we're indigenous to the planet or just Africa?
Well, the planet would be Africa and everywhere outside of it. Are you asking, like, do I think we popped up in different locations?
Yeah. Like, are we indigenous everywhere?
Possible, but it's possible, but I don't think so. Based off of tracking humans over time. For instance, we can see how Northeast Africa got populated because 700,000 BC, we can see Africans from the south traveled up to Northern Africa and populated it for the first time.
But from where though? They traveled to North Africa and populated? From where?
Yeah, from the south.
Oh, from the south. South Africans went and populated North Africa.
Right. South and Western, yeah.
Okay, now I gotta ask you this. You know what I'm saying? I gotta ask because when I came across it, I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" But you know, anything's possible. What's up with the golden beetle? What's that about?
The beetle shows birthing, right? So it's called Kapara, right? It's for creation. So it's showing creativity. It's showing kind of how the universe comes into being. So the beetle is a neuter noun, similar to Atumra or any well, not Atumra, but a Neteru. We say Atumra because his hand is a female Neteru. His shadow is a female Neteru. That's how he procreates in the first place. So anyway, in the story, it says I'm Osiris, right? Kapara says that my name is Osiris. And then when you watch the beetle, the ancients will watch the beetle, and the beetle would roll up a ball of dung. It would put its children in the dung, and the children eat the dung to come out, because that's what beetles do. They clean up doo-doo for us. And that's their food. And so they would roll it into the ball like a sun. And so you often see the symbol of Kepara holding the sun above his head. Like you see the beetle hold the dung above his head, showing that his life is inside of that ball and he takes care of that. And it's above him.
The only reason I asked that, because if you look up Golden Beetle right now, it's gonna show you the gay dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, that's what kind of threw me off a little bit. You know, I ain't got nothing against none of that. You know what I'm saying? But he's supposed to be a big deal. He's supposed to be a big deal too. You know, so that's why I asked about that.
I mean, it's as big as creativity happens, right? He's saying that because it appeared magical to them at the time, right? You're like, why is this beetle rolling this ball of doo-doo up in a circle and holds it above his head when the sun rises, and then his children start to come out of it like magic, like Heka. And so that's what it symbolizes. They took an act in nature and, symbolized it basically.
You feel like we're like children of the sun? I mean, I look at the word sun and
that's what they call them, sun folk.
You spell it backwards, it says in us. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. But this is my last question. I'm gonna get out your way.
No, you can ask more. That's what I'm doing.
The meta nature.
No, you good.
That was deciphered. That was deciphered by the white boy, right? Francis Champollion or some shit.
He helped do it.
It kind of like weirds me out a little bit because I'm like, damn, a white boy deciphered it and then told niggas what it said.
Well, the first person to decipher it was somebody black. You just didn't take the time to find out his name, right?
What's his name?
We know who Dul Noon is. He's a Nubian. Him and Ibn Wadiya, an Arab. So Dul Noon, he's the first one to start to break down the Medu Neter and get the words right with the Arabic. So his water wave matches the Noon symbol in Arabic, and some of his other stuff it matches up. He did it first, and then Ibn Wadiya did it after that. The problem is when we stick to only American scholars, you only know American stuff. But that's about 1,000 years before Champollion got a hold of it, which is probably why.
I brought you African scholars, family. And they are saying that the Neteru,
I'm gonna bring you the truth. You see Dul Noon? DHUL. Noon. N-U-N. Dul Noon. Look him up. And while you looking him up, let me finish this part. So when Sir Alan Gardner kind of criticizes Champollion in the Journal of Egyptology, I believe it's number 2, but I might be wrong on the number. He's like, man, if I knew such and such, I could have deciphered. I could say I deciphered it too. So what? He ain't do nothing. if Thomas would have gave me all that, so and so, Thomas made the most progress.
Sorry, can you hear me? I can't let you escape, man.
What you want to fight about?
You ran past that, man. You just like, hey, nah, man. So these people have a story where they believed, literally,
we covered that already.
Their own creation story, just like I know, but you skipped past and said, it didn't go like that.
Skip past.
So how about this?
Pinpoint something.
So I am the great guy.
Pinpoint. Say what you really.
This is none, baby. Let me ask you this. I am the great God. He evolved by himself. Mm-hmm. Did they literally believe that, or they were just practicing and saying, "Oh, this is just something that means something else"?
No, the nature
excuse me. I am the great God who came into being by himself. Are you saying they didn't believe in that? They didn't literally believe
it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's different than what you was talking about before. When we say the great nature came into existence by himself, we would be talking about what? Which one? Because a few of them said it, including our set. Which one in particular you talking about?
Well, you got Ra who said it. You got I got Amun who said it right here on the screen.
Yeah, a bunch of them said it. That's what I'm saying. What in particular did you have an issue with? Listen.
I'm asking you. So my question is, did these people, these ancient Kemetics, literally believe that this God came into existence by itself? Yes or no?
Yeah. Don't you believe that God came into existence on his own?
Okay. So
All
what
right,
is
then what you
Jabari?
talking about?
So so whoa, so,
Even an
so what is,
atheist believes that the universe came into existence on its own, right?
right? But I'm saying, so what is Jabari
So we
talking
ain't
about?
saying nothing. Yeah, what
I'm not. I'm asking you, what is Jabari talking about when he's saying that they didn't
oh, brother
literally believe
Jabari?
this?
Well,
Yeah.
he's pointing out the conceptual as opposed to the literal, right? So just like I've shown you some concepts tonight out of things that are literal, there's a concept behind it. So it's it's the moon, but we call it the Eye of Heru in the mythos. It's the moon, but we call it the body of Osiris in the mythos. And we say, look, he's enjoying himself. He's celebrating. He's growing stronger. Oh, now Set is breaking him apart. Oh, he's breaking. Oh, now the sisters are putting his body back together. Bedhead and Set are putting it back together. And each month passes as the moon wanes and waxes.
That ain't what they talking about. When they
Yeah,
say
it
that
is, because that's
I
what it
am the
say in the
great
Coffin
God
Text
who
and the
is all
Pyramid
by
Text. You
himself, they
dead
ain't
there.
talking about no moon.
You dead.
I am the
JJ, you
great
know I
God.
got a video showing the text when I explained it on my channel. You know this. It's up.
So are you
So
saying
it's, yeah, this ain't, like I said, this is not the guess hour.
no, bro? But you
This is
just
the
disregarding what
actuality hour. So
what
you
no.
know, yeah,
Okay,
you
show
know
me,
that's in the Coffin Text.
watch this. I am the great God who came into being by himself. The great God who created himself is the water that is the heavenly ocean, the father of the gods. Another says it is Ra who created his name, the Lord of the circle of gods. That is Ra who created his names for the limbs and created those gods who attend him. I mean, it don't get no clearer than that. These people. So why did they write that down? Go ahead.
Well, they wrote that down to show the greatness of the sun and to show the features of the sun. Like the hymn to Ra is a beautiful text, right? So there's a challenge. I was challenged by one of my Muslim brothers in London. It's like, show us a text that's better than anyone in the Quran. So I read the hymn to Amun and I read the hymn to Ra. And somebody said, "Oh, that's beautiful." I said, "I know," and it's prettier than a lot of the text in the Quran. Hey, shut up. So yeah, you're gonna find a lot of texts that are, about the Neteru that are just that, beautiful. And when we look at nature, watch this, which people don't really peep out. When it comes to nature, everything is individual, but it's a part of a whole. So we say all the Neteru together are the face of Amun. That's in the Laden Papyrus 350, text 1. When we talk about the face of Amun, that's everything in the universe seen and whatever's outside the universe unseen, because Amun is the hidden one. When we start to take the pieces apart, then we start to get into the solar and the cosmic religion, which you seen me explain when we had the debate with my brother Cosmon, Cal, and my Waspy brothers. And when we start to get into individual pieces, you notice that dark energy makes everything. Dark matter is a part of everything that's physically seen. So now you got Noon and now Unet. Time comes into existence after energy cools off and matter is made, because we know when it's just strictly energy, nothing is going to pass away. So Hehu and Hehuet come into play at the beginning, because timelessness and the other statement about Hehuet, it is true, right? Care and Carehead, night and light come into play. So now we've got Amun, we've got Nun and Now, we got Amun Amunet, Nun and Naunet, Ker and Kerhet, Hehu and Hehuet. We've got an Ankh. That was Saber Reggie's acronym, Ankh, and why I used it. And that just helps you remember easier the Pesejet Kamenu, or what you call the Agdad, or Agdod for some of you who say it that way, which is the 8, with Jehudi being at the head of that being the 9. So we just looked at the elements of the universe through the Agdad, or through the Pesejet Kamenu, and we can see that this is true about nature, and it's true about time, it's true about the forces in our universe, and it's true about life. Each one of them are individual. Each one appears to have came into existence on its own.
What is the, let me ask you this. What is the Kemetic word for nature?
What's the Kemetic word for what?
Nature.
For nature? It could be said a few different ways. What would be the best way to describe?
Let me ask you, is it Neteru? Is it Neteru?
I mean, nature is divine.
No.
Right? Nature is divine. So that's divine nature. But like when you say Ankh, it's life. That's what nature is. When you talk about like the different word for trees and individual things, that you would describe it like that. When you talk about the way of life, you would say the Wa in Ankh. So that's your path through life. You talk about nature, though, they individualize each piece of it, right? If I'm talking about the heavens or the sky, I call it the pet. That's the solar system. If I'm talking about the earth or something on it, that's Geb.
So
if I'm talking about a piece of land, that's Ka. So we can name the different parts of nature. Yeah.
Do the pharaoh becomes nature, or do he embodies the Neteru?
Pharaoh is a nature, just like you're a nature.
Right, I get that. So, but
remember, he's not for nature. He's the good God.
Right, he's the good God. There it is, right there.
That's why I started with that in the beginning. Nefer nature. Yeah.
Right. So the political implications are explicit in related texts. The Book of the Heavenly Card, Ra is king of mankind and gods together as unity.
And who is the Nasuba T2 Ra?
Ra convenes the company of gods.
Hold on.
His eye to withdraw. He delegates to Thoth.
Of course, because he's the medium, remember?
So, do they literally believe this, or they this was just a person?
He's the king. It's not belief. It's what's going to happen. If you disrespect Trump, what's going to happen to you?
So, Ra's the king.
Yeah.
Mankind.
So this what hold up. What was I just asking him? Who is the king to Ra? What's his title?
Amun.
He's called Sa-Ra, right? The son of Ra. He's Nefer-Necher. He's the good king.
His son is the king?
Yes. Hello. So you talking to little Haru. And Ra is his father. That's why he's Sa-Ra. He's the son of Ra. Son of the sun. King of the sun folk. He's there to give law to you. And who are his helpers?
I mean, but I thought he was the supreme deity. Like, he's not ruled by a king at all.
Who's the supreme deity?
I'll be right back, y'all. Keep talking.
Okay. You thought who was the supreme deity?
Ra. I thought Ra was the supreme deity.
Yeah, but we talking about the king. We talking about the son of Ra. Right? So if the king is Sa-Ra, that means son of Ra, right? He's the Sa. He's the Sia, the knowledge, right? That's who he stuffed the knowledge in. So who's above Nefer, the good king. Who's above Sa-Ra? Ra.
No.
That's his daddy, right?
Mm.
Every king that came into existence had his Ra name, right?
Mm.
So who's the king of kings? Asar. Who's the soul of Ra? Asar. See, you got to reflect on yesterday so you're going to know where you're going today. This is why Asar is called yesterday and Ra is called today. This is why he's facing the other way as a lion and Ra's facing forward as a lion. And in between is the Aket, is the Heru. And we are the sun folk. That's what they call us, the people of the sun.
Interesting.
That's something else. Come on, baby.
Look at him.
What's interesting is Asar is, Asar is not telling you that these people believe that these beings were literal. Are they literal?
Oh, you call it a childish creation story? I mean, you're going to have different cultures try to disrespect what they disrespect. You know, how childish is, when Adam and Eve were in a garden and the snake started talking to them. All right, childish creation. I hear you, fam.
So do nature has jurisdiction over mankind?
Yeah. Remember, Asar named everything in creation too. Oh, say that again, JD. You kind of low.
I said, do nature have jurisdiction over mankind?
Yes, because we can't escape nature. So you'll never escape nature. Remember, I told you you're going to meet Ra at the end of the day. Is the sun part of nature?
Well, according to science, nebula will be destroyed.
If we shot an atomic bomb at the sun would, if it didn't implode and engulf us, you see, we can't even escape. We can't even we can't even get off the planet. We more like a virus than anything else. So we venerate what's higher above us, which created us. We know the sun helped in our creation from our skin color. We know we created the others because once you get lighter, you generally only get whiter. It's very difficult for a white person to make a black person unless they had it in their genes from before, or they have a black person in the relationship to make that darker hue come back out. So you give praise and you give reverence. You give respect. Even the apes know to do that. And we're just a type of ape, but we don't come from mating with apes. We come from the same DNA pool, convergent evolution and parallel, not divergent outside of our species. Divergent happens within a species for my atheist listener, not outside of it. That's why a liger and a tiger and a lion don't mix to make anything that can mate without a hand of God assisting it. A mule can't do anything after it's born from a donkey and a horse. Sterile, without an act of God assisting it.
You said something about shooting at the sun.
No. Hey, Copper Draco, did you hear him?
You got it.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah,
I heard what I said too. That's why they be like, you tripping. Why you gonna do that to us? Because you know it's the truth. Science knows it's the truth. Anybody trying to claim that we're from this monkey mixing with that monkey is we still waiting on that fossil, homie. We still waiting on that transitional fossil you can't produce. We still trying to figure out why you keep counting thousands of they count millions of years of evolution. Humans have only been on the planet for about 2 million of them. Possibly. Some of them put us in the thousands, hundreds of thousands of years. So The Cambrian explosion shows a bunch of species happening really, really fast in a short period of time, and a bunch of them just like, that's why they call it an explosion, because like all these species just popped up out of nowhere. But it didn't take those thousands of years to get the proficiency in their eye and their this, that, the other, right?
But you believe that the whole evolution story, that people and monkeys got a common ancestor?
You just heard me debunk that. Why would you ask that?
Oh, okay, my bad. I might have heard wrong, man. I got you. Let me figure it out,
Oh,
man.
you listening to me, brother? No, I'm messing with you.
So,
yeah,
I've been hearing that a lot.
Yeah. So the Cambrian explosion takes place really fast. There's about 2 of them. And we get a bunch of species really fast. Evolution explains the process taking millions to thousands of years. But it doesn't happen that way. We've got a Cambrian explosion that takes place, right? So it didn't happen the way that they explained it. So there's an issue. Where the and then some of them are used in some of Max Schmelding's work recently with this. Oh, see, this random act happens like this, and a lot of that's still speculation.
Yeah.
They're trying to learn it from the quantum world, but a lot of it's still speculation. Even with the quantum physics, which I like to look at the most. Kind of the first one on the scene with that. They wasn't even talking about that, but
so let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Asar. Did they believe that the afterlife was literal?
What is the what? The after what?
The ancient Kemetics believe that the afterlife was literal.
Yes.
They believe that,
like
right?
I said, they believe now, not all of them, but a good portion of them, right? Most of them. Some of them were atheists. There's a whole song. This is how I know ain't nobody. See, if some of y'all was dangerous, you go get the song. There's 2 songs. There's one that those who believe wrote in response to the atheists in ancient Egyptian literature. And there's one that the atheists wrote to the believers in the ancient Egyptian literature. They're both in different books. So, atheists had eat the food, they never come back, something. No one comes back from the other side, such and such. And the believers say, be careful, we won't make a grave for you. Something. Yeah, remember how the song goes.
So in your studies, what was the purpose of the retainer sacrifices?
If you disrespect the Kemet and they went to war with you, you were made an example out of. And so
I'm talking about. So you saying that those people that were buried were they wasn't noblemen?
They were doing a celebration, and they might dash one of them on that altar. There's an altar in the Asar cult, and cats be getting dashed over that thing. Get the split act.
So you saying all the retainers were enemies? They wasn't. They were not.
Yeah, for the most part, because if you were part of the king, say the king died in early times, right? And this I know because I'm Congolese, and you see the same thing happen in ancient Congolese culture. When you pass away, if you were part of the king's cabinet, you were going to join him with Ifa, right? So in the next life, same thing in the Zulu practice. If you ever watch Shaka Zulu, I want you to go back to when Shaka goes back to visit his daddy, and one of the kings are passed away, and they're breaking the necks of his followers and putting them in the grave with his father. Why? So they can be with their king in the afterlife. Some people would run away when it happened. Some of them would want to go.
Right.
So,
but you know what you said? You said they're noblemen.
You
You
said what?
said that. They're noblemen. His court. He took his court with
his court and some of the people who follow him. Some people would volunteer to go, right? So when people say stuff like, oh, the text didn't include you, what are you talking about? There's a whole burial that was going with the king because they wanted to be with their king, not with that new ruler. They didn't want to be without him because it was rough times outside of his jurisdiction in the world. And they didn't want to be with the new king because they might have thought he was harsh, disrespectful, or they might have disrespected him before he got to the throne, and now he's there because of a war. What's up? So these are the things that would happen in ancient times early on.
Yeah.
So this is why eventually they moved away from that really early. And that's why you see the shopkeep. You see the little statuette in the burial.
That's a fact. So why is Jabari denying that?
Like I said, there was a group of them that kind of disagreed. Sometimes we get ahead of ourselves in ancient Kemet. We wanted to look a certain way, but we also have to just be realistic about the culture. If you do excavation or if you're reading the excavation, you're going to see who, how, and what. When you make it a murder mystery or no, see, my aunt does this, or we don't move like that for real. We want to say the best things, but it's basically because you asking somebody about something that's tragic. It's like when somebody asks about Hebrews raping a female, or when the Benjamites ran up and killed all them dudes, and you know what I'm saying? Well, no, it didn't happen like that. That's what you generally get. You don't get nobody to stand on business. Cats, they get the him and hey, we done heard cats make up elaborate stories of how God needed this to happen and go to a totally different chapter and try to no. So when you talk about rough situations out of the blue, especially when a different conversation is taking place, it can take somebody aback. Me, I just happen to be straight up and down, so it never bothered me to tell somebody, yeah, you trying to justify what that weirdo was doing when he was running through them priest's house, trying to goose the priest in the butt and steal the gold, and when they whacked him over the head, yeah, that's why he got it. So we tell it like it is.
So did the Neteru's house the temples? The temples were the Neteru's houses. Statues weren't symbols; they were vessels that the Neteru could inhabit. Right?
Let me give you something that most of you don't know.
The
right?
priest fed that statue daily because the Neteru lived there.
Put food in front of it, and then the food would be consumed by the priest. So you got to know how that works, right? But in
the essence, we know that part. But what I'm saying is that the temples were the Neteru's houses, and these statues weren't
that's
just
why I
symbols.
Sit back, I'm about to give you something, right? So when you set up a per ankh, there's a couple things that take place, right? The room that you keep the Neteru in, if it's a per ankh, is going to be in the back, dark place. And it's not just going to be that, but it's also going to be inside of something, generally a cabinet or something. And their Neteru were made of pure gold. So you got gold statue carved out, they carved as a reminder of what a Neteru is and why you venerate and respect God. And you whisper into the hole in the Neteru. You say prayers around it. You deify it. But it's just a statue. The Neteru who's in charge is Nefernetra, Sarah, the king. That statue is there as a reminder God is watching you as the golden hawk. God is watching you as the black man is saw. God is watching you as the queen are set, the smartest on the planet. Right? So these are not only functioning ideas in your mind and concepts, but these are the reminders. And too many of us need reminders on a regular basis. We'd turn around, say Jesus, and then go do something stupid. Oh, but the grace, that's America. Muslims would do it, and then they'd be like, oh no, jizya, we can tell a lie to a disbeliever. And Jews just do anything willy-nilly nowadays, from bombing people, taking over their land, or whatever. Got black Jews they won't even recognize. But see, when that nature's in the air and it's above you, and you look up and you see that priest there who mean just as much business because he's probably the mayor or a vizier, you're gonna show that respect. The king is a priest as well. That's why he takes the royal bath of a priest. You ought to remind yourself of being nature on a daily basis. So these are the way, like I said, the ethics and codes are important. In the culture at that time, it was very important. You can't do like you do in America. You talk against the king, that was a problem. That's the story of Ankh Shashank. He's making information for his son to follow because he was caught in a conspiracy against the king. Even though he didn't do it, he didn't tell the king, and he knew it. Even though that story is fictitious, supposedly, we know that what's made out for his son is not. And we can see that he lived, but the story about him appears to be fictitious. That particular point.
Yeah. So there's one more thing before we end this, because I can't get it all out in one night. Jabari came on there the other day and said that the 10 Commandments were stole for the 42 negative confessions of Ma'at. Do you agree or disagree?
I mean, you can find the same ones in there. I have an Arab text that says that they stole a lot from Kemet. But
so
that's neither here nor there. If we say thou shalt not steal, can we find that in the 42?
That's a universal. That's a universal ethic, though.
Is it?
That's universal. I mean, there was
hold
out
up.
before.
What happened?
Watch this. Watch this. The instruction of. Have you heard of the instructions of Shurapak?
Yeah.
Instruction of Shurapak was written 2,600 to 2,500 BCE. Jabari. That's old Sumerian period attributed to King Shurapak of Shurapak city. The Coffin Texts start around 2100 to 2000 BCE. See? So Shurapak instructions predate the Coffin Text by 400 to 500 years.
That's
but
the
you know what it
claim,
says? You should not speak lies. You should not steal. This is a universal ethic. So for him to say that, oh well, the 10 Commandments stole that from the Coffin Text, then we would have to say that the Coffin Text stole it from the instructions of Shurapak. You should not speak lies.
If
you should not steal. See, Jabari, you cannot do that. They would all is parallel cultures. Cultural ethics don't start in Kemet, Jabari. When there's something out there older than what was written down in the Coffin Text 400 or 500 years earlier. You see?
The virtues of Ma'at are older. But if we look at if we look at where we find the 10 Commandments,
the virtues
we
of
find
others
those
older
on.
than what?
We find the 10 Commandments on the Nash Papyrus, right? So that's where we first find that verse, is on the Nash Papyrus. And it doesn't happen to say Egypt land of bondage on it. So when we first find the Nash Papyrus, that's when we find the Yahweh, I'm a jealous God, and all that stuff. And then it goes into the commandments. But here's another thing. You consider those commandments to be the laws of God or the laws of Moses?
I just find it universal ethics. But for Jabbar to say that,
well, that's why I said if we look at the story of the Israel, but when it didn't have a king, they didn't appear to have those universal ethics. They did what they wanted to do. So when we look at intermediate periods in ancient Kemet, some of them did what they wanted to do. The case of eating children, what happened to the universal ethics then? Particular king ran up on the people that was trying to eat the children in his jurisdiction and got the swagging some heads. That's a story in there. That's a story on the wall.
The instructions of Sure Pack, you said that there's a universal ethics that's older than that, coming from Kemet. That's what Jabbar.
So now we got to look at some stuff, if it's universal or not, because apparently not everybody lives by that, right?
How about the Urnama code of Sumer? 2100 BC is the same era as the Coffin Text, but the instructions of Shurpak 2600 BCE do not lie, do not steal. That predates the Coffin Text, Jabari. The ideas are older than anyone. These ideas are older than any one culture. Do not kill, do not steal, do not lie. Shows up in Sumer before Kemet wrote it down. So universal ethics aren't Kemet's invention, but Kemet gave a lot of the earliest 4 written codes tied to the afterlife judgment. So just because you have similar universal ethics, Jabari, doesn't mean that it comes from Kemet or that the Israelites stole it from Kemet. If we're going to do that, then we got to say that Kemet stole it from something that's older than them. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, we've been on for 4 hours. I appreciate you. Sorry I come through more often, man. I got to start going live more often. I've been busy, but it's been great information. I got my money on Reggie because Reggie is in the stance of my original argument that Jabari been running from, and he wants to point out that these people didn't look at this.
Saber's tough. Yeah, Jabari tough.
And only
it's gonna be a scrap.
And that's a major truth.
Yeah, it's gonna be a scrap for sure. For sure.
Man, I see. That's what I'm saying. I don't look at him as a person who don't answer questions. Who in all his debates, when he talks about, I don't see him going into the text to prove that this is just an idea, a concept, a principle. I'm looking at these people's culture and their life and their verbiage, and I'm gonna say Jabari is not telling the truth. But with that being said, it's been on for 4 hours. I'll be back maybe for another part 2. I'll be peeking in the bushes, listening to see if Jabari is telling the truth or is he telling lies. So go ahead and start get some last words in, family, and we're gonna get up out
in the top. Y'all know what it is. Remember who you are and be in the saw. Uncle Jen, Uncle Johnson. Do I am Sedgum. Thank you, family, for listening. Peace.
All right. Peace. Get up out of here, man.
heard of me. Intellectually, it's a murder scene. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Wanna murder me, but never heard of me. Intellectually, it's a murder scene. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Black excellence at its finest. Yeah, using big words, but he can't define it. Then it hit him with the cannon, don't you stand behind him. It's about to get hot, watch him change the climate. He's nothing but a novice and he show his heart. Man, I think this rookie's done, sticking with a fork. Yeah, he treading water, swimming with the sharks. You will never see the light, living in the dark. The only thing he study is this information. Till I show him all his flaws and his calculation. Gotta leave his dummy dead as a demonstration. So I hit him with the cake with no hesitation. It's a wealth of knowledge you ain't never seen. Chop his body up and weigh the dead on a triple beam. Got this bully on my phone and he keep calling me. Need me to come and pick him up from another murder scene. And he's telling me, I don't know why they keep invading me. I said we just don't keep kicking their ass into reality. Judas 7,000 said they want a war, but they should have already known that we were looking for. Wanna murder me, but never heard of me. Intellectually, it's a murder scene. Claiming you a scholar, get the clock out. Claiming you a scholar.